Hello. Right. Welcome to this discussion for the second part of January 2025 important newspaper articles. So, we've already seen the first half of these articles yesterday. So, today we'll try to finish off the remaining articles that are there. Okay, and as usual, we have provided all the materials and all in the description, so you can use them at your leisure. Go through them, make use of the data. You can use them in writing the answers, and also at the same time knowing different things with respect to prelims exam. Okay, and if you have any queries, you can put it in the message in the YouTube comments itself. And if you are actually writing answers, you can once again post your sample answers as comments on the YouTube comments section itself, so that we can give you some advice and we'll get back to you, right? So the first article for today, so this is regarding a CBI arresting an ED official, and then the ED official blaming the CBI, telling that they are pressurizing him to hide CBI's own corruption. And on the other side, CBI is telling that this person, whoever they have arrested, was involved in collection of some 60 lakh bribe or something. Okay, and this matter had gone to court, right? And the court said that the arrest by the CBI of the ED official is illegal, and the person has been released, right? So basically, what we have to know is from the exam point of view, they can ask some things related to CBI in the prelims, right? So it provides the assistance to the Central Vigilance Commission. It provides investigation assistance to Lokpal, right? It is the premier investigation agency in India, right? So it is also coordinating with the other countries on the Interpol agreement, right? So CBI, it is not a statutory body, but it derives its power to investigate the cases from the Delhi Special Police Establishment Act 1946, right? And creation of CBI, it was recommended by Sandhanam Committee on Prevention of Corruption. Okay, and what type of cases CBI handles? Anti-corruption cases, economic crimes like fake currency, bank fraud, cyber crimes, import-export violations. It will also handle crimes of sensational crimes and crimes of that can affect the society, right? So these are some of the things which CBI handles, right? And central government authorizes the CBI to take up investigation of a crime in a state, but the state government has to give consent for that. Okay, and however, the Supreme Court and the High Court can order CBI to investigate any type of crime anywhere. In this case, once again, consent is not needed, right? So the CBI director, so that is the head of the CBI, right? So these are all some of the important points with respect to CBI, right? Jurisdiction, right? It operates with respect to the Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions. So origins, we've seen initially it was to investigate corruption in war, interception of any malice, all these things, right? Now, CBI structure: director appointed by a committee consisting of PM, leader of opposition in the parliament, and the CJI, right? So, divisions: anti-corruption division, economic offences division, special crimes division, administration and training division, right? So, it has inherent jurisdiction over central government employees, PSUs, autonomous bodies under central government. So, key crimes, we've already seen that, right? Even the interstate, international cases and all it handles. So cases can be referred by the state government, right? So that is also possible. So prior consent is needed, right? So if the court is ordering it, in that case consent is not needed. The other important institution is Enforcement Directorate, right? So Enforcement Directorate, established in 1956, And the main aim it is to investigate the economic crimes, financial crimes, money laundering and all. So the main thing with respect to enforcement directorate, it will investigate four types of laws. It will implement four types of laws, investigate violations of four types of laws. One is the Fugitive Economic Offenders Act. The other is the PMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering Act. The other is the COFI-POSA, Conservation of Foreign Exchange, right? Prevention of Smuggling Activities Act. The other is your COFI-POSA is there, PMLA is there, FEMA violations, right? Foreign Exchange Management Act. So these are the four legislations whose violation the ED will investigate: COFI-POSA, FEMA, PMLA, Fugitive Economic Offenders Act, right? So just remember this point. So it's under Ministry of Finance. Okay, so it enforces PMLA, FEMA, and the other two legislations also, COFI-POSA as well as Fugitive Economic Offenders Act. Okay, so in the exam they can ask you which is the specialized agency that will deal with foreign currency violations. Specialized agency is ED. Apart from the ED, they can collaborate with the CBI in investigation of those crimes also. Okay, so the investigative agencies, whether it is CBI, whether it is ED, whether it is the Central Bureau of Narcotics, whether it is the Narcotics Control Bureau, whether it is the Department of Revenue Intelligence, whether it is the Wildlife Crime Control Bureau, whether it is NIA, there are some places where the functions will overlap, right? They will collaborate with each other on investigating a crime, and there are some things which are unique to one particular institution. For example, terrorist case means only the NIA will be involved. Okay, if it is with respect to drugs, interdiction of drugs trafficking, the Narcotics Control Bureau will be there, right? Overseeing the violation with respect to cultivation of drugs, only licensed cultivation is allowed of opium and all. Any violation, somebody is illegally cultivating opium, then Central Bureau of Narcotics, that will be involved. So there are some things which are unique to every institution. There are other cases where the functions overlap, so just remember that alone. Okay, so these are some of the points. So ED jurisdiction, the structure, all that is fine, right? CBI, ED, so you can just go through it. And even see, once again, CBI is an independent body only, so it operates under Ministry of Personnel, but once again it is independent in its operation. So now the next important legislation is the Unlawful Activity Prevention Act, right? UAPA. See, the UAPA is one important legislation, right? So it's an important legislation that deals with unlawful activities. It gives power to the government to name a particular individual as a terrorist and to name particular organization as terrorist organizations. So any organization or any individual who is trying to indulge in acts of terrorism against the government, which will affect the territorial integrity, sovereignty of India, such a person, such an organization can be arrested under UAPA. And under UAPA, even the death penalty, life imprisonment and all is allowed. Okay, so UAPA, the main important thing is the investigation agency can file a charge sheet maximum 180 days after the arrest. So they can take a long time to do the investigation and file the charge sheet. And even further time, if they want, they can get it extended after getting the permission from the court. Okay, so these are some of the important points with respect to the NIA. Okay, so UAPA 1967, it defines what is a terrorist act. It punishes conspiracy against the government of India, against the territorial sovereignty, integrity and all. Okay, now apart from this, there is also something called as Article 19, which guarantees the right to express dissent and right to protest, right? So of course there are reasonable restrictions. If you are calling for violent overthrow of the elected government, that comes under sedition, or that comes under acts of terrorism, because you are limiting the sovereignty and integrity of India. In that case you can be arrested, but then and there courts have said that just because you are a member of banned organization doesn't mean that you can be labeled a terrorist and can be arrested. If you don't show any intent, or if you haven't done anything that has caused in violence or anything against the society, people or the government. So just because I'm a member and I don't do anything, that is not grounds enough to arrest a person, right? So this had been mentioned. And another thing is, with respect to UAPA, it's a very serious offense. It's a cognizable offense, non-bailable offense, and without the investigation getting complete, without actually the charge sheet being filed, a lot of people are there inside the jail for a long time. So this is something that has been highlighted, right? So that UAPA, it's being misused. So without filing the charge sheet, people are keeping the people inside the jail, right? So as an accused, a person spends a lot of time, even years in jail under UAPA. Okay, so these are all some of the things, right? There should be proven intent, there should be active participation, right? So in the Arup Buyan case only, the court said that mere membership is not enough for as a ground for arrest. You need to have an active intent which results in some violence against the state. So the next article, it is with respect to our Genome India database, right? So recently we have mapped, 10,000 human genomes, that is from 10,000 individuals across 83 groups in India. So you can say 83 castes or communities across India. They have mapped the genome of 10,000 people belonging to these 83 communities. So now we are having the DNA database of this much amount of people belonging to the different castes, and this will give you a lot of insight in understanding what is the variation, what is the allele proportion. Some people have more variation, some people have less, some people have mutation in these locations, all these things. And why this is important is it will help us in understanding whether some people are more prone to get certain diseases, right? A lot of things are genetic. For example, even a person who's more prone to losing hair, going bald, or getting diabetes, or genetic illnesses, all these things, a lot of things are genetic, right? So you can understand the DNA, so you can find out whether there is a susceptibility of that person for getting that disease. So before getting the disease itself, if you know the genetic makeup of the person, so you can make the lifestyle alterations, right? And another one thing is with respect to medicines, right? So you can check the genetic makeup of a person and then give them targeted medicine, precision medicine. So this will give better outcome, less side effects, all these things, right? So it plays a huge potential is there with respect to these genetic precision medicine and all. So is a in a step in that direction. So this Genome India database will help us, right? So basic things about DNA. It's a double helix. So it has a lot of protein coding sequences like genes and all, right? So the genes will code the proteins. Chromosomes are there on the DNA, right? So 23 pairs in humans, 23 into 246, right? So human genome, complete set of DNA genetic information having 3 billion base pairs, so it's huge, right? So Genome India project funded by the DBT under Ministry of Science and Tech. Leadership is with the Indian Institute of Science. So it involves collaboration of over 20 universities in understanding the DNA sequence, doing the sequencing, find out the variation, storing the data. So it requires huge amount of collaborative effort as well as computing effort, and a lot of money is needed for doing this. So catalog of genetic variations. So this will understand the genetic makeup of the country. It will create a comprehensive genetic map, and then precision medicine can be used. And something related to this, in South Africa, they have allowed the altering of the fetus. The DNA of the fetus can now be altered. So it's colloquially people say designer babies can be produced, and it's been legal in South Africa now. And the main aim is that they're allowing the alteration of the DNA makeup of the fetus, uh, so that they want to eliminate certain genetic disorders. Now, for example, there are diseases like, for example, sickle cell disease. So in the India, scheduled tribe populations are more prone to get sickle cell disease. So like that, certain diseases are there in South Africa also, and the government does not want those diseases to manifest in the next generation. So whenever, wherever possible, you identify it, they're saying that you cut it, remove that particular genes, make it inactive, do some alteration. So this designer fetus is going to be allowed in South Africa. So just remember that. Key focus areas: mapping the genetic diversity, analyzing variations across Indian populations, precision medicine, so tailor the treatments based on individual genetic profiles, disease research, investigate the genetic contributions to diseases prevalent in India, biotechnology advancement, enhanced research with genetic data, the public health informed policies on population genetics. So all these things are the related domains in which this particular project will help us, right? So the next article, I'll just turn on the AC, give me a moment. So the next article, right, it's with respect to SBI's estimate of poverty in India. So this thing actually was a controversial report, because SBI said that the rural poverty has fallen greatly, right? So before we go into it in detail, we'll see some basics of poverty and then go into the report. So 2009 Tendulkar Committee report on poverty, right? So it created uniform poverty line across rural and urban India, and it was criticized for low poverty line. Okay, it was a consumption based poverty line classification. In 2014, it was modified by the Rangarajan Committee. So it provided higher poverty lines compared to Tendulkar, broader poverty definition. Okay, and then still there were debates whether it's an accurate estimate, right? So other norms are there, like for example, Planning Commission's calorie norms, 2,400 calorie for rural India, 2,100 for urban India, like that. So basically, what I would personally feel is the World Bank, the UNDP and all, they have the multidimensional poverty criteria, right? So if you take World Bank for example, so they classify any person who is earning less than $2.15 per day to be in extreme poverty. So if you go by that definition, less than $2.15 per day, so that would be 129 million people who are earning less than that. So I would say that this will be proper data. 129 million people earn less than $2.15 per day in India. So these are the people who are in extreme poverty. Okay, so you can quote this data in your answers, right? So that is the thing. The next thing, right? Poverty indicators, you can do it based on income. It can be done based on stunting, wasting, undernutrition. All these are prevalent in India. If you take the percentage of wasted children in India, it's nearly 20%, highest in the world. If you take the percentage of stunted children in India, it's around 33-35%, right? So that's also one of the highest in the world. If you take undernutrition, right? So 1 in 3 child is severely malnourished. So that is the situation in India, right? And if you see the global hunger index rankings, so once again India is like 108 or something like that. Okay, so that is just manifestation of poverty, right? When stunting, wasting, undernutrition, underweight and all is that much prevalent, it's manifestation of poverty, right? And you can also get a feel of the poverty through infant mortality rate, neonatal mortality rate, maternal mortality rate, anemia, all these things, access to drinking water, access to health insurance, access to pakka house, access to electricity, right? So these are ways in which we can understand whether people have enough or not. Literacy, once again you can see what is the percentage of the population which is finished high school, percentage of population which has finished college education, percentage of population who are skilled in some particular task, right? Multidimensional poverty index, so that's also a very good thing that's given by UNDP, so that also it's a good indicator, right? So the national multidimensional poverty index, it's based on the UNDP thing which Niti Aayog has made for the different states and districts, right? So that will give you between the states which state is forward or which state is still needing a lot of work to do in poverty elimination, right? So periodic labor force survey, it will give you the percentage of employed, unemployed, all these segments. So that's also useful, right? Given by the NSS, or National Sample Survey Organization. So it will tell you as of now, if you see, even only 25% of women are there in the employment, right? So once again, that's a very less number, right? Other countries, it's very high. So these are some of the things. You have the Sustainable Development Goal 1, no poverty. So eradicating extreme poverty. So 129 million people, how are we going to lift out of poverty by 2030? Another 5 years only is there. So it's a tall order. needs a lot of collaboration, cooperation between the states, between the central government, between different stakeholders, right? If you see the SBI report, see the drastic fall in rural poverty from 25% to 4.86% in last 15 years. Urban poverty decreased from 13.7% to 4.09%. So they're saying that the overall poverty is only around 4 to 4.5%. And they are saying that there is no inequality also with respect to consumption between rural and urban India. So this report has been very controversial, telling that it's not an accurate estimation. Okay, the next thing, it's with respect to our California wildfires, right? So one thing is that in the US everything is built using wood, right? So they just build everything with wood, and if fire hazards are very high there, and in California year after year you are having wildfires. uh, Climate change is accelerating them, increasing its severity, increasing its number. The dryness, right? The drought, lack of rainfall, the dry winds, right? Warm dry winds, you might have heard Santa Ana winds and all. So they all promote this chance for a wildfire. Somewhere it's going to get sparked, and it spreads rapidly because lot of under cover vegetation is there, right? And that is all providing the fuel, and everything is built with wood, so that provides, ensures that everything gets burnt down. So one of the most dangerous forest fires witnessed in the last few years, right? So many houses, thousands and thousands of houses have been destroyed in California, right? So wildfires, these are uncontrolled fires spreading rapidly through vegetation. So it's a natural phenomenon. It happens every now and then, like during lightning strike, or during thunder, or sometimes due to the intense heat, due to friction it happens. But increasingly it is done by the humans. For example, even the antisocial elements and all, they set fire to the forest, having some grievance with the state. They want to take revenge by setting fire to the forest. People, irresponsibly, they enter into the forest, set up the campfire or smoke, and then the stubble gets lit by the cigarette that is thrown out. That's also done. Sometimes people do shifting cultivation, and this becomes uncontrollable, right, when the fire spreads. So these are all some of the things which can cause wildfire. So these are some of the main points here. And the India State of Forest report, it identifies the areas, the different states, the different forests, the districts which are prone to forest fire, which is prone to critical forest fire, severe forest fire, moderate forest fire. The percentages and all are there. So you can go through that India State of Forest report, and then 2023, and then you can use it to write the answer. And the fire ready formula report that you would have heard, right, given by the fire ready formula report. This particular report, it says that two-thirds of the money, you have to create a fund, right, to tackle the forest fires, and two-thirds of this should be used for prevention, and one-third for the rehabilitation, rescue and response after a forest fire. So these are some of the points that you can use. So causes, we've already seen that. Next thing, these are also available in the Bundelkhand region, right? It's a drought prone area. A lot of dry undergrowth will be there, and it can result in forest fires, right? So what is the impact? Huge amount of greenhouse gas release, air pollution, right, water pollution, damage to wildlife, destruction of fauna, flora, property damage, infrastructure loss, firefighting cost, need for water, right, loss of human lives, smoke, psychological stress, all these things, right? And the forest fires are only increasing. And major global hotspots, California, Australia and all, every year it happens. Hawaii, you might have witnessed, that was very much there. In India also, in the central India, it is quite prevalent. Central India, East India, like Orissa and all, it's quite prevalent. So management, so prevention, rehabilitation, recovery, this satellites and all, so you can detect and monitor and ensure a grid pattern so that the fire doesn't spread. You need to have practice the fire drills and all every now and then, so that proper response is done, right? So what are the government initiatives to tackle the forest fires? You are having a national action plan on forest fire. You are having the forest fire prevention management scheme, right? You're having the National Remote Sensing Center, which is providing the satellite related data. So the collaboration with the state forest departments, that is also there. So different states are doing their bit also to tackle forest fires. Forest Survey of India is creating a map of the areas which are prone to forests and sharing them with the state governments and then recommending certain interventions. So all these things the government of India is doing. Okay. The next article, it is with respect to one court case, right? So actually, there was this to a couple. They were living separately for more than 25 years, and the court has recently granted the couple divorce. And they said that around 75 lakhs had to be paid by the husband to the child and the mother, and the husband paid some 30 lakh to the mother and gave some 45 lakh to the daughter. The daughter refused to accept it. Then the father actually mentioned in the court that the daughter is not accepting it. Then the court said that though the daughter does not want the money, the education expense for the daughter, it came to around some 45 lakhs, which the father was okay to give. She was studying abroad and all. So the court said that though the daughter does not want it, but it's a right of the children, especially daughters, to get the education from the parents. So parents are liable for providing education to them. So the children can get the education expenses covered by the parents. So they've said like that. So here, though the daughter does not want it, it's a right to get the education funding from the parents if they are, whatever according to their financial capacity. So this was there in news. So just go through it. Okay. So that is the thing here. Article 20A, 21A, right to education. So free and compulsory education up to 8th standard, right? It's not applicable to minority owned schools. It's only applicable to the majority run schools. 25% of the seats have to be given for this for free for the poor. Children's development in a healthy and dignified manner. It's there in Article 39 E and F. Article 41, public assistance for education. 51 EAK, it's a fundamental duty, parental duty to provide education, right? So this providing the education to the children, it's also there in the Hindu Adoption Maintenance Act, applicable to the 4 religions: Hindus, Buddhists, Jains, and Sikhs. It's also applicable under the Guardian and Wards Act. So it will ensure that the minors' welfare, including educational arrangements, it's applicable to all religions. Juvenile Justice Care and Protection Act 2015. It's protecting the children's rights who are in conflict with the law. So juvenile delinquency and all. And apart from that, it also relates with respect to orphanages, right? Creation of the child care institutions in the districts, creation of district child protection officer, the chief, the child protection units, all these things, special child protection units are all being created. Okay, so that is only Juvenile Justice Act. So adoptions and all are being regulated by this act. So any adoption has to be registered with the CARA. CARA is a statutory body under this act, and only CARA registered adoptions are legal, right? Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act. Now that is once again related to women in the family. So they should not be, given any type of trouble like verbal violence or sexual violence or physical violence or psychological harassment, all these things. So in that case, financial relief can be given. Okay. So Supreme Court judgments in the arena, if you see, Chandigarh administration versus Jasmine Kaur 2014, right to education is an integral part of Article 21, right? Kusum Sharma case, courts must carefully evaluate parents' financial capacity, and then based on that they can fix how much money for children's education, right? The next thing, it's with respect to the UN rights chief. So what he has said, that is preventing the content online or removing the content online which is hate speech is not censorship. So some people have said that these online platforms, social media platforms like X or Facebook and all these Instagram, all these places, the certain content alone gets removed, whereas certain other content does not get removed. And each one is accusing each other, telling that this particular platform is biased to certain standpoints and averse to certain standpoints. So in this, the UN rights chief has said that if it is hate speech, it can be removed, and that such a removal is not equivalent to censorship. So our Human Rights Council, UNHRC, is there, and United Nations Human Rights Council is there. High Commissioner for Human Rights is also there. So it's under the UN General Assembly. Okay, main aim is to promote the human rights, address the violations, recommend the improvements, right? So you might have heard, right, the UN High Commissioner on human rights. So this human High Commissioner on human rights, like that there is also UN High Commissioner for refugees, so don't confuse between the two. Okay, so High Commissioner for human rights is different, High Commissioner for refugees is different, right? So UN Human Rights Council, so 47 member states are there. It's under the UN General Assembly, right? UN Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, that is correct. So protecting the human rights, so that is the main job of the High Commissioner, right? So he'll ensure human rights proportion, capacity building with respect to human rights, implementing the treaties. For example, Paris Convention on Human Rights is there, right? So implementing such treaties. You might have heard some other treaties also. You might have heard of the International Covenant on the civil and political rights. So that is one important international convention. You might have also heard about the International Bill of Human Rights, right? You might have also heard of the International Covenant on economic, social, cultural rights, right? So these three covenants, whether it is the International Covenant on economic, social, cultural rights, whether it is the International Bill of Human Rights, whether it is the International Covenant on civil and political rights, these three together are only the most important components of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Okay, so if they are telling Universal Declaration of Human Rights, right, so it will also be related to the International Covenant on Economic, Social, Cultural Rights, International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, and the International Bill of Human Rights. So all these are linked together. Okay, and India is a signatory to all of these conventions. Okay, so there is a responsibility with respect to different signatory countries to ensure that such a discrimination or hate speech and all does not happen in their society. Okay, so contemporary issues, online hate speech, digital rights violation. So you might have heard 66A of the IT Act, it was struck down. Under that act, the government said that if there any hate speech and all is being spread on the social media, the government has the right to remove them. But then the Supreme Court said that it is against the free speech and it's giving the blanket power to the government and got the 66A invalidated or struck down. Okay, so that is the thing here. So support for vulnerable communities. So yeah, of course, India, I told you, it's a signatory of ICCPR, ICESCR, right? Signatory of the International Bill of Human Rights, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, all these things. Okay. The next thing, it is with respect to the selection process for the Chief Election Commissioner. Usually they used to just appoint the senior most election commissioner upon the retirement of the Chief Election Commissioner. But now we have the Chief Election Commissioner and Other Election Commissioners Appointment Act of 2023. So in this particular act, they have said that they will prepare 5 names and give it to the selection committee. Okay, so who will prepare the names is there will be a selection committee that will be created by the Ministry of Law. Okay, so the selection committee will then be comprising of the Prime Minister, Cabinet Minister, Leader of Opposition in the Lok Sabha, and then they can have the people. So maybe some 3, 4, 5, 6 candidates they can select, and then they can identify who can best discharge the duties as a CEC, and then they can identify that. So the first time this is going to happen. Okay, so 5 names will be created. These 5 names, they will be the people who they feel that will be good for the post of CEC. So 5 people. These 5 people will be then selected by the Prime Minister, Cabinet Minister, and Leader of Opposition. So one committee will be there. So this particular committee will then decide who is going to be appointed. Okay, so Election Commission of India, very, very important, right? So the Election Commission, it is the main organization that is there in the country, right? So it's a constitutional body. So it will only conduct the elections to the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, state legislative assemblies, offices of president, vice president, and all. Okay, so Article 324, superintendent's direction, control of elections to be given in the Election Commission. Article 325, no person to be ineligible for inclusion or to claim to be included in a special electoral roll on grounds of race, religion, caste or sex. Article 326, universal adult suffrage. 327, power of parliament to make provision with respect to elections to legislatures. Article 328, power of legislature of state to make provisions with respect to elections to such legislature. Article 329, bar to inference by courts in electoral matters. So very, very important. Okay, so originally the election commission had only one member. Then what they did was the Election Commissioner Amendment Act 1989 was passed. Then it became a multi-member body, and then now the chief election commissioner and 2 election commissioners will be there. Okay, so these are some of the main points with respect to the election commission. Okay, so chief election commissioner and the election commissioners, they are all appointed by the CEC and the other ECs Act of 2023, that is the latest amendment. So they have a fixed tenure of 6 years or up to the age of 65, whichever is earlier, and they should be, their salary conditions and all should be equivalent to that of a Supreme Court judge. Okay, so that is the important point here. So it's an independent body, superintendent's control of the elections, right? It has the advisory jurisdiction on the 10th schedule with respect to disqualifications. It will ensure the free and fair elections, upholding democratic integrity, right? So now it is a break from seniority. Now they are choosing the external candidates also, so 5 people, and who will choose them means a 3-member committee, PM, leader of opposition and union minister. Okay, so they can select the candidates. The next article is with respect to the hottest year on record. So 2024 was brutal with respect to the heat. So 2024 has become the first year to breach the 1.5 degrees Celsius mark of the WMO. So you might have heard the Paris Agreement said that we will limit the temperature rise compared to the pre-industrial level to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Now it has already crossed that. Okay, so from 6 data sets, the average 1.55 degree it has increased. Now what are we going to do, right? That is the big problem. And if it is going to be like this, we are going to reach the Pliocene warming. So Pliocene warmth, it was around 3 degree, another 1.5 degrees Celsius more. And the Pliocene warmth, I think we will reach soon. It will take another only some decades for us to reach the Pliocene warmth. That will be devastating, right? There will be no permanent ice cap, then the sea levels will increase. Okay, so we are going to reach that within another 150 years. So Pliocene was 3 degrees Celsius more compared to the pre-industrial level. Now already that half mark we have reached. Another 150 years we will be done, right? So 3 degrees Celsius, if it is going to increase, some people are saying by 2000 itself it's going to be reached. 3 degrees Celsius. If 3 degrees Celsius, 4 degrees Celsius increase is going to happen, all our climate models will go to toss. Everything will become unpredictable. There will be all these extreme weather events, whether it is heat wave, cold wave, heavy rainfall event, drought, cyclones, all these things will increase. Already category 5 hurricanes in the Atlantic as well as in the Pacific, they have increased massively, right? So Philippines, then US and all, more amount of hurricanes are coming, right? So global warming, increase in the temperatures, it's due to the anthropogenic reasons. Greenhouse gases we are emitting, carbon dioxide, methane, then sulfur hexafluoride, hydrofluorocarbons, right? All these things we are emitting, and it is going to disrupt the climate, right? Urban heat island effect, we are having a concrete jungle. All the trees have been cut down in the name of development, and as an advanced civilization we are all living in this concrete jungle. Okay, and the heat is there increased. In the city, the temperature, if it is 1.5 degrees Celsius in the overall district, in the city 3 degrees Celsius temperature increases there. That extra heat is there because of urban heat island. And we are doing deforestation. It can cause delayed monsoons, prolonged heat waves, all these things. And stubble burning, so we set the crops on fire, it burns. Forest fires we have already seen, right? So what are the mitigation measures? So mitigation measures, first thing, you might have heard National Action Plan on Climate Change is there, right? So under that national mission, solar mission is there, National Sustainable Habitat Mission is there, National Mission for Sustainable Himalayan Ecosystem is there, right? So National Sustainable Agriculture Mission is there. So Green Hydrogen Mission, all these things we have to implement. Heat action plans have to be created. We need to plant more trees, For the first time, India State of Forest report has said that the total green cover, whether it is trees outside the forest as well as the forest, has increased 25%. Beyond 25% of India is now forest. But now we need to increase that as early as possible to 33% and then to at least 40% if we are to have some decent cooling effect. Japan and all, they have done very good afforestation. Now more than 50% of Japan is under forest. So like that we need to do, right? So we are having huge amount of arid semi-arid areas, and we have a huge coastline. So what stops us from creating desalination plants and irrigating those areas and creating the plantations, right? Some places Miyawaki afforestation, some places plantations, we can create the fruit crops, and this can be distributed for free to all the poor. That will improve the nutrition also, improve the climate also. It will be a win-win for all. Under NREGA all this can be done, but for some reason we are not doing it. Same thing what we discussed yesterday, the recycling industry. Recycling industry has huge potential. Waste management industry, recycling industry, the effluent treatment, tertiary treatment, reverse osmosis plants, sewerage treatment plants, those things have huge potential. It will make a huge improvement in the quality of life. It will ensure the disease comes down, need of medicines will come down, the hospital visit will come down. It will create the happiness, better quality of life. It will improve biodiversity. It will increase the plant animal life. But one thing is that we are not doing it, right? So afforestation, reforestation. So you might have heard Great Green Wall of India. It's read about that. Great Green Wall of China, Great Green Wall of Africa. Read about these projects, right? So Great Green Wall of India, we are trying to prevent the spread, the eastward spread of the Thar Desert, right? So rainwater harvesting, water storage, integrated watershed management, all these things we have to do, right? So public awareness, must not go out in the sun, stay hydrated. Okay, this ORS, oral rehydration solution, if a person is affected, you have to give that, right? Energy efficient ACs, right? 5-star inverter AC and all is there. We have to use such type of methods. And the green buildings and all, you would have heard IGBC green building, right? India Green Building Council green building is there. So under that platinum rating, all that is there. So when you build the house, or when you are planning a mass rapid transit system, or when you are planning the smart city, right? When you are planning an institution, hospital, college, or industry, you can get the consultancy from the India Green Building Council. They'll tell that, they'll plan the thing in such a way that the energy cost will reduce, water will be conserved, rainwater harvesting will be promoted, solar will be promoted, afforestation will be promoted, so that the energy consumption and impact on the environment will be as less as possible. And in fact, it will become water positive, carbon positive industry also. Okay. So next thing, it is with respect to the index of industrial production. So here the IIP has increased, okay, in the November. Okay, compared to the previous year, it is a little bit less, but they are hoping that this thing will hold good. Okay, so that already the foreign institutional investors and all are taking money out of the share market. Our share market is having a bloodbath meltdown, right? So if the growth is going to slow down, then it will cause a lot of societal issues, right? So that is why the government is implementing the expansionary fiscal policy. Even if the private investment is not forthcoming, government is spending the money so that output will increase, right? So that is the thing here. So index of industrial production. So this index of industrial production is an indicator that will measure the change in volume of production of industrial products over a given period. So it's published by the National Statistics Office under MOSPI, right? So it is a composite indicator that will measure the growth of industry under two heads. One is broad-based sector like mining, manufacturing, electricity, and another classification is use-based sector, basic goods, capital goods, intermediate goods, and all. The base year is 2011 to 2012. So with this, we can understand whether there is a growth in the GDP or fall in the GDP and all. And you might have heard of the 8 core industries. 8 core industries, they have 40% of the IIP. Okay, so the 8 core industries are, the most important is refinery products, then electricity, then steel, coal, crude oil, natural gas, cement, fertilizers, like that. So already in the prelims, they have asked you to rank in decreasing order, which is the weightage. Okay, so for example, refinery products have a weightage of 28%, electricity 19.85%, steel 17.92%, coal 10%, crude oil 9%, natural gas 7%, cement 5.37, fertilizer 2.5. So in that order it's there. So just go through it, right? So index of 8 core industries. It's also released every month by the Office of the Economic Advisor under DPIIT, Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, under Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Okay, so just go through it. So with respect to IIP, we've already seen that the data is given which is useful for GDP calculation. It's published monthly by NSO under MOSPI, right? So what is the weightage? Manufacturing has 77%, mining 14, electricity 7.99. So anything above 50 means expansion, and anything below 50 is contraction. So if previous year it's 55 and this year month it's previous month it's 55 and this month it's 54, it's expanding, but it's at a decelerated rate, it's slowing down, right? So that is the thing here. So industrial performance, 5.2% growth, highest in 6 months. Okay. So rebound in domestic demand, recovery in exports, PLI schemes. So you might have heard production linked incentive scheme. Certain industries, some 12, 13 industries, if you make sales above a particular threshold every month, then they are giving some cash incentives, input tax credit, all these things, so that your cost of production will come down. Okay. So significance of industrial growth, it will promote industrialization, GDP growth, forex, it creates more jobs, right? Promotes more forex reserves, right? Promotes capital investment, global competitiveness, all these things. What are the challenges to industrial growth? It's the high inflation, right? So one of the things, right, we are importing a lot of raw materials. For example, the fertilizers, the active pharmaceutical ingredients for medicines, all of that we are importing, most likely from China. Even the rare earths and all, we are importing from China. Now the problem is with depreciating rupee. Last month I would have imported it say at 80 rupees per ton. Now for example, last month I would have imported, say for $1 I'm importing, I would have paid 80 rupees. Now I'm paying 85 rupees. Next it will cost me 90 rupees. So import will become more and more expensive because of depreciating rupee. So that thing is there. Subdued domestic demand, right? The rural consumption. So monsoon should be proper. Rural consumption, only then will be good. Agricultural expansion should be there. Only then in the rural areas it will be good. In globally, with Donald Trump back at the helm, the threat of sanctions and all, Donald Trump has said that it will be America first policy, and he'll impose the sanctions on BRICS countries and all. So threat of sanctions, that is one fear that is creating uncertainty. So the Sensex and all has fallen greatly. Technological and skill gaps, infrastructure bottlenecks, right? Logistics cost in India and all is quite high. So we want to reduce the cost of logistics, right, as a percentage of GDP. For that only a lot of schemes and all are there. Gati Shakti and all is there, right? So we want to reduce the cost of logistics, and we need to promote the skill development, right? So next stage of industrialization, the skills, you have to constantly upskill yourself, reskill yourself, unlearn the old skills, all these things, constant continuous learning is important. So these are some of the points. So government measures, PLI scheme is there, production linked incentive scheme. Some 13 sectors, 13 ministries are together providing this incentive. Just read about it. Infrastructure development, so for constructing the power infrastructure, power plants, the transmission infrastructure, roads, highways, bridges, ports, right? All that is being done under mission Gati Shakti, right, also known as National Infrastructure Pipeline. So this they are doing along with the private sector. PPP model and all is there. Ease of doing business, so we are creating this single window clearance, right, faceless clearance, right? So red tapeism and the ease of doing business and all we are improving. Digital transformation, so you might have seen a lot of digital public infrastructure and all is being created. Agriculture DPI, health sector DPI, all that is being created. So credit and financial support, so a lot of loans at subsidized rates are being provided, collateral free loans for MSMEs. You might have heard a ramp scheme and all is there, MSME gift scheme, MSME spice scheme. I think yesterday we saw it, right? So credit and financial support we are providing. At the same time, credit guarantee is being provided to the banks, so that if the person is not able to repay, at least 75% of the amount outstanding will be paid for by the credit guarantee institution, whichever that institution is. Like for example, MSME means CGT, MSME, MSE is there, credit guarantee trust for micro and small enterprises, that is there. So like that, the thing is that government will fund the credit guarantee institution, and the institution will then give the money to the bank, so that the bank will confidently give loan, even if it's a collateral free loan, to a risky borrower, right? So these are all some of the government measures. Next thing, it's with respect to the election commission, right? So the government has said that the election commission is using technology to ensure free and fair elections, and to ensure that there is the upholding of the democratic values, right? So recently our Delhi elections had happened, and this article was prior to the Delhi elections. So at that time campaigning was happening. So this article is there. So election commission, we've already seen that superintendents of elections, right? We have seen all the articles of the election commission. We've seen the composition. We are seeing the new act for creation of the appointment of the election commissioners. We have seen their tenure, removal, all these things, salaries and all we have seen, right? What are the functions of ECI? We've once again seen these things: conducting the elections, preparation of electoral rolls, delimitation, right? So delimitation is what? Changing the boundaries of the constituencies, so that each constituency will have almost equal population, so that for example, if in one constituency 10 lakh voters are there and they are electing one representative, the other constituency also should have something around 10 lakh and they'll elect one representative. It should not be like one constituency 15 lakh for every representative, another constituency 10 lakh per every representative, another one 8 lakh per every representative. It should not be like that. Each vote should have the same value. So that is delimitation. So the latest delimitation is going to happen after the census, and once that delimitation is going to happen, the number of seats are going to change. It's going to increase, and we have to see based on how they are going to increase it, if 2021 population data is going to be used or not. For that, once again, census has to be conducted, and only after that the 33 percentage Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam, that particular guarantee of 33 percentage of representation for women in state legislative assembly, as well as the member of parliament elections, so that will be guaranteed, right? So political parties, the registration, recognition, symbol allocation, so all that is done by ECI. Model code of conduct, voter education like sweep, right? So education plan, that is only sweep. Addressing the malpractices, bribery, all these points, right? So evolution of ECI, so we already discussed that, right? Initially there was only one election commissioner, then it became three, right? Initially the ballot papers were used, then it became EVM, then now EVM with VVPAT, right? Then epic photo identity card is there. Now probably they're going to attach the voter ID with the Aadhaar for further elimination of bogus voting and all, right? So all these things, just go through it. Nota, you might have heard none of the above. So you are not happy with any of the candidates, means you can press nota, right? Challenges facing the ECI. So simply, always the losing parties, they will tell that the voter machine is not working properly, but when they win, somehow it is working properly. So that is there. That type of shameless behavior is still there, despite people thinking like that. They think that they are very smart. Anyway, electoral malpractices, some places, the cash for votes, right? So one vote they are paying 2,000, 3,000 and all, and getting the people to vote, buying the votes. Sometimes fake news with the deep fake and all is there. Ensuring model code of conduct across all platforms, especially online platforms, is becoming difficult. Voter apathy, right? If you see the voter turnout in metropolitan cities and all, it's not crossing 50 percentage. So voter apathy is there. Nobody knows where these 50 percentage are there. But probably it's very difficult. I mean, 50 percentage of the people are not coming to vote, means where they are living. So that's the first question, right? Funding transparency, you might have heard of the electoral bonds and all, right? It has been struck down. So it said that it's promoting the corporate manipulation of elections, and it's not actually doing anything for transparency. In fact, it is going against it. So the court has struck it down. Okay, so olden days, booth capturing, intimidation and all used to be there, widespread in all parts of the country. Now it is limited to few pockets, right? Recent reforms and recommendations. So one nation, one election. So they want to do both the Lok Sabha and state legislative assembly election at the same time, but nobody knows how feasible it is. Because what if one particular place there is a hung verdict, or in one particular place the government collapses, then what are we going to do? So what happens then? So these are some of the things that we have to discuss before we go for one nation, one election. So just go through the Ramnath Kovind recommendations regarding ON OE, right? Digital inclusion, so blockchain they are trying to implement for remote voting, right? You might have heard postal votes and all, so for that they are promoting, just go through it. Campaign financing, so you might have heard of it. See, the political parties and all don't have to pay income tax, okay, and they don't even give the information under RTI telling that they are not a public authority, but because they are registered recognized political parties, they are getting lot of benefits from the government, free electoral votes, land at cheap rate to set up the party office, all that benefit they are taking, bungalow, all these things, but they are saying that they are not public authority, so that's a big problem. Strengthening the model code of conduct, autonomy, right? So autonomy is there for the ECI, it becomes all powerful during the conduct of elections, right from the date in which the elections are announced. It gets all the officers on deputation and they implement it, right? Next thing, it is with respect to our military exercise, La Perouse, right? So the La Perouse military exercise, it's a multinational naval exercise conducted in January 2025. It was conducted near the Indonesia, okay, and it was hosted by France, okay. So the main country which is hosting it is France, and where it was conducted in the Malacca Strait, Sunda Strait, and the Lombok Strait. All these are near Indonesia, and the various countries including India, US, Canada, Australia, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, UK, along with France, they participated in this. Main thing, it is to promote the freedom of navigation, right, to address the illegal trafficking, freedom of navigation, HADR, humanitarian assistance, disaster relief, joint operations, all these things. So people are saying that it's targeted against China, okay. So this also aligns with India's vision of Sagar, right? Sagar vision is there, Mahasagar initiative of Indian Navy is there. All that is to ensure that security and growth for all in the region and collaboration in maritime security, right? So just go through it, right? So Malacca Strait, so these things, map based questions they can ask. It's between peninsular Malaysia and Sumatra, right? Sunda Strait between Java and Sumatra, Lombok Strait between Bali and Lombok. So it's all there in near Indonesia only. So just go through it. Map based questions, they have asked it many times. Lot of these islands, right? Which island is closest to India, like that and all they've asked from Indonesia, right? So La Perouse exercise, so we have seen this. The IRS, right, Indo-Pacific Information Sharing Platform. So it's launched in 2018. It's a maritime information sharing tool, right? It has the encrypted, neutral, reliable communication. So it will plan and collaborate the maritime operations, right, in a vast international waters. So just go through it. And our INS Mumbai, it is a Delhi class destroyer. So you might have heard, right? We've already spoken about this, the class of warships, right? The corvette is there, frigate is there, destroyer is there, cruiser is there, then you have the submarines and then the aircraft carriers. So all these are classified based on the tons of displacement. So for example, you take a corvette, it will displace around 3000 to 4000 tons. Frigate will displace a little bit more, maybe 4000 to 5000 tons. The destroyer, it will displace around 8000 to 10,000 tons. A cruiser around 12,000 tons, right? So it's based on the size, right? All these are warships, okay. And beyond this, you want the big size, means you have to get the aircraft carrier only, and they'll all have this surface to air missiles, surface to surface missiles, the radar systems. All these things will be available. Even the deck based helicopter operations, all these things are possible, okay. So next thing, once again with respect to investment, private sector investment is coming down. There is a poor demand, right? So we already saw FII are going away from the Indian share market, right? They have felt that the valuations are very high. Now the share market is collapsing, and here the domestic institutional investors also, they are withholding their investments, whether it is in the companies or in the share markets. It's getting less. Getting the loans from the banks also, they have reduced it. So that is why the government has come in and they are trying to increase the expansionary fiscal policy, take more loans. The government wants to spend the money so that the jobs will be created, money will be there with the people, people will start buying things like that, okay. So poor demand hits private sector investments, okay. So you can see here it is going down compared to Q3 versus to Q2, right? So domestic private projects also going down. Sectoral performance, lot of contraction is there in automobiles, construction and all, okay. A lot of unsold inventory, you would have heard all these things, lot of projects in limbo, growth, mining, irrigation, pharma, they are seeing growth. So for pharma and all, you have PLI scheme on drugs and all. Irrigation is there because agriculture infrastructure fund is there. Our Har Khet Go Pani, once again the scheme for irrigation, right? AI accelerated irrigation benefit program, AIBP, that is the Krishi Sinjai Yojana. So that's promoting irrigation, right? Mining, once again, the government is fast tracking the awarding of various contracts. So recently also you would have heard the tungsten mining controversy and all in Tamil Nadu. They are awarding the contracts, but actually mining happening, that's very difficult. Even in Riyasi they said that lithium has been found, but nobody has wanted to do the mining there. It's very difficult, right? So electricity projects, so this is also increasing. Hopefully a lot of more money will be pumped in towards renewable electricity projects, right? Solar, and also our Muft Bijli Yojana and all is there, PM Kusum is there, even the green electricity corridor infrastructure investment program, so that all is there, right? So state level dynamics, right? Project outlays have increased, investments down, right? Foreign investments are also down. So all these things. Reasons for decline: weak consumer demand, rising input cost, depreciating rupee, geopolitical uncertainty, Trump telling that tariffs will be put, the war between Gaza and Israel, the war between Ukraine, Russia, the threat of sanctions, all these things, these tensions are increasing. Policy uncertainty, see, that is why once again up to 12 lakh no income tax. Why the government did that? They want to stimulate the demand, right? So these are all some of the things. The next thing, this is with respect to again biotechnology related news. These are all quite important, right? So ICMR and CDSCO, they have developed one test called as the antimicrobial susceptibility test. Okay, so antimicrobial susceptibility, it is related to the antimicrobial resistance. If you are seeing the cases of antimicrobial resistance, you can see here in 2017 around 25,000 cases were there in India, but now it has increased to nearly 1,20,000 cases. Now if antimicrobial resistance is going to increase, then even for the simple the infections, we will not have the drugs which can cure that infection. So understand, you are doing the surgery and all, right? The body is stitched and all. So those are all huge prone to infection. So for that only they will apply the antibiotics and all. Imagine if those antibiotics are not working, then simple infection can result in sepsis, eventually death, right? So it's a huge problem as recognized by WHO. So a lot of initiatives are there to ensure that antimicrobial resistance does not increase. WHO GLASS initiative, Muscat Ministerial on AMR, you are having the WHO One Health initiative, right? Main reason why the AMR is increasing, it's because of self medication. We ourselves pretend to be doctor and eat the medicine, right? I feel they like this, I will eat this medicine, that medicine, like that we itself eat. The other is even the doctors, they do the based on the symptoms, right? Empirically they just give the antibiotic, they don't do the actual diagnosis, right? You are getting some infection, doctor without taking the test, doctors prescribe the antibiotics. Main reason is test and all is costly, then people will not come to the doctor, they will self medicate. So the thing is that it's a very fine line, right? So more than 90% of the times without any test only the doctors are giving the antibiotics. That's a big problem. The another thing is that the antibiotics meant for humans, it's being misused. They are using it as growth promoter in the poultry, aquaculture and all. So that's exposing all the drugs and all to the bacteria unnecessarily, and they're developing the resistance. And another thing is we are not following the course of treatment properly. 5 days they give the tablet means 3 days you have, then you feel better, you stop doing it. So that and all will increase the antimicrobial resistance, right? So these are some of the things that we have to deal with. Apart from that, improper disposal of waste from hospitals or pharma companies and all, if that is going to happen, the soil and all will be contaminated with a lot of drugs, and the bacteria, pathogens and all will get exposed to them, get used to them, right? So that is something that we have to keep in mind. Okay, so CDSCO, it is the drug regulator and approval authority in India. So any person wants to sell any medicine, they have to get the approval from CDSCO. And ICMR, it promotes the research in medicine, so creating the new medicines, understanding about diseases and all, right? So with respect to our CDSCO, it's headed by the DCGI, Drugs Controller General of India. So we need to ensure that antimicrobial resistance is curtailed, right? So it's a big threat, right? So causes of IMR, we have already seen that. Significance of the diagnostic framework, standardization, validation, faster approval, timely diagnosis, all these things. You can just go through it. So ICMR, it's the Apex Biomedical Research Body. CDSCO, the power has been given by Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1945. We've already seen that. AMR, right, some of the efforts, ban on colistin, awareness campaigns, AMR surveillance network, national action plan on AMR, right. What are the challenges in tackling AMR? Healthcare gaps, global cooperation, over-the-counter antibiotics, lack of diagnostics, right. India is among the largest antibiotic consumers, right. WHO glass, we discussed it. National health policy, it states that AMR is a key public health concern, right. So next thing, it is with respect to death penalty, right. So here the RG car case you would have heard, and the Supreme Court has said that death penalty will be given only in the rarest of rare cases. And the Sessions Court, what they have done is the Sanjay Rai, right, who is the accused, that person has been sanctioned only to the life imprisonment. Okay, and various court judgments and all say that it will be applied only in the rarest of rare cases. And you can see some of the circumstances. If the murder is pre-planned, calculated, involves extreme brutality, exceptional depravity, right. If the accused is attacking the public servant, probably, right, all these three things meet in the RG car case also, but they have given the life imprisonment. Okay, mitigating circumstances, that is why life imprisonment should not be given. Whether accused was emotionally disturbed, mentally disturbed, age of the accused, probability of the accused posing continued threat to society, probability of reforming the accused. If the accused was acting on the direction of another person, accused believed that their action is justified, accused suffers mentally and is unable to appreciate the criminality of their actions, all these things, right. So these are some of the points. So the thing is that we are all having these principles and all, but at the end of the day, it's not uniformly applied. Okay, so just go through these judgments and all, right. The collective conscience of the society is shocked, then death penalty has to be applied. That is once again Machi Singh versus State of Punjab case of the Supreme Court, right. So possibility of reform. So that is the thing. Stage of the trial, when the court should consider these circumstances, said that separate trial after convicting should be done, right. So you first convict the person, then another day you have to once again sit and then decide whether what penalty should be given. So sometimes they do it on the same day, and they are saying that that is not the right way to do. Okay, so these are all some of the things, right. Bachchan Singh, rarest of rare, death penalty imposed only when no possibility of reformation. Okay, 5 bench established aggravating and the mitigating circumstances. Okay, so anyway, next thing, it is with respect to the constitutionality, it's upheld only. Death penalty is there subject to all these safeguards, right. Balancing test, here to see the weighing the aggravating and mitigating factors. Court must provide the justification, all the rehabilitation, whether it's possible and all, you have to consider. Aggravating circumstance, extreme brutality, cruelty, premeditation, planning, exceptional depravity, impact on society. Mitigating circumstance, belief in moral justification, age, mental health, incapacity, probability of reform, acting under duress, all these things. So nature of offense and judicial variation, so that's the thing, right. Inconsistent judgment, so it's all based on judge centric. Okay, possibility of reform, right. Separate trial for sentencing, that you have to do separately. You have to convict him once, then another day you have to sit and decide whether death penalty or whatever penalty that is there, that it should be given. Okay, next thing, it is our Gwadar airport. You would have heard of Gwadar deep sea port, but now Gwadar airport has been built, all that with China only, part of the Belt and Road Initiative, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. So both the port as well as airport has been built. So that is the thing. And recently in these areas itself, a lot of in Balochistan specifically, lot of attacks against Chinese engineers who are part of this project has been happening. Okay, the Balochistan Liberation Army, they are conducting a lot of attacks. So China is also a little bit frustrated with Pakistan, telling that safety is not there, all these things, and the threat of debt trap is there. Even the Pakistani nationals, they feel that debt trap is a big problem, right. Government has no choice but to be close with China, but public are getting worried. So Belt and Road Initiative, so more than 140 countries are there in partners. China giving the loan for development of infrastructure projects, but only thing is that it's being given at commercial rate of interest, 13%, 14%, like that. Compare it with the official development assistance of Japan, maybe 1%, 0%, 1.5%, that is the interest rate, not more than that, right. So Key BRI projects, Gwadar Port, Hambantota of Sri Lanka. You might have heard of Hambantota, what happened there, right? So Sri Lanka couldn't repay the cost. More than $1 billion were spent by China in upgrading the port, and Sri Lanka couldn't repay because expected money it couldn't generate. Now 99-year lease has been given to China. So like that issues are there. China-Pakistan economic corridor, right? So Chinese banks, AIB, all these are funding it. It expands Chinese influence. You might have heard, right? China has nearly $2 trillion in forex, right? $2 trillion, 2000 billion. Imagine 2000 billion. This 2000 billion is their own money, in the sense that they are getting this money because of having a trade surplus. Every year, nearly 900 billion, $1 trillion trade surplus they make. Imagine every year, 1 trillion, $1,000 billion they earn every year, China, as trade surplus. Last year, that was the amount. If you see India, our forex is totally only 600 billion only, and that too is not our money. It is all based on FDI and all these things. We have to give back that money. It's not based on trade surplus. We are always having the trade deficit only. But because someone or the other keeps on investing, our thing is working, right? So Belt and Road Initiative, right? The ancient Silk Road, right? That is what they want to recreate. So maritime component is there, overland component is there. So right from China until Europe, they want to do it. Okay, so India is not part of this initiative because it is passing through Pakistan occupied Kashmir, and also sovereignty concern is there, right? So it increases Chinese influence, right? It promotes problems for China. So debt diplomacy, that is the Chinese acquisition. You are creating the debt trap, making those countries be the slave of China. So the problem is, if you take Maldives for example, right? If you take Maldives for example, 30% of the foreign debt, right, of Maldives is owed to China. So that is a situation that's very serious, right? So connectivity advantage. So of course, cost of logistics and all comes down. Imagine recently, train from China till London was launched under the Belt and Road Initiative. It went to London in some 10-12 days. Imagine if by ship it has to go, many months it will take. So 1/3 of the days it has gone. So that much reduction in cost, promoting the logistics, it happens, right? So impact on India, border tensions, cultural influence. So China's soft power is increasing, right? People will become indebted to China, right? Job competition, attraction of regional labor, all that is there. Okay. So I guess we have done 100, right? Yeah, we are on track, right? We can finish it off. 100 slides we have seen in an hour. Another 2 hours, I guess we can finish it off, right? So the next thing, it is with respect to our Mullai Periyar Dam issue. So you know that Mullai Periyar Dam, it is there in Kerala, but it is owned and operated by Tamil Nadu. It's a very old dam, more than 129 years old, right? So now we know that you have a supervisory committee to regulate safety of the Mullai Periyar. So court is now asking whether this initiative should continue to be there, or they can create a new committee as under the provisions of National Committee on Dam Safety, right? So that is what the question that is being asked. Okay. So just to know what are the constitutional backing for water, dams and all. Entry 56, interstate river valley and all comes under union list. So parliament has the power to create the laws. Concurrent list entry 17, water is there, so allows both center and states to regulate. Article 246 divides the legislative powers, enabling dam safety and all. Article 256, right, state law must comply with the central law. And Article 21, you might have heard. So Article 21 is what? Right to life, right? So you can't die because of poor dam quality, right? The flood should not take you away. So right to life is there, right to clean environment, safe environmental is there. So just be aware of it, right? So Article 21, right to life, it applies to both even illegal immigrants. So Indians, foreigners, even illegal immigrants, it applies, right? So Dam Safety Act 2021, what are the key provisions? So it establishes National Committee on Dam Safety for creation of the policy, and who will implement it? The Dam Safety Authority will implement it. It will act as the regulatory body, right? So it will maintain the dam database and all. So the composition of NDSA, so officer who will be additional secretary level at least, okay, executive director at least, joint secretary level officer, technical specialists will be there, CWC representatives will be there, So state dam safety organizations, it will be established by each state, so it will do the work in the state. So national dam safety organization will do at the centers level. Okay, so state committee on dam safety also will be created, so it will frame the policy in accordance with the national committee's guidelines, right? So these are all some of the points. So the next thing, it is with respect to the illegal migrants. So you might have heard somebody entered into Saif Ali Khan's house and stabbed him. It's a very puzzling, right? So these people and all will have huge amount of security, and that person is living somewhere in 10th story or something like that. How can someone enter into it and enter into the house and then stab him? So it's a very fishy, right? Probably these are all people who came to give them the drugs, and then some fight happened. It's very strange, right? And people are they have totally hidden, lot of loose ends are there. How did this guy first enter into that apartment complex, then how did he enter into Saif Ali Khan's house, right? How you itself would have gone to different flats, right? There will be that too, people who live in Hollywood stars and all, they will live in the very posh flat. Security itself, 100 people will be there. How person simply comes inside, they're saying he's a burglar, right? It's very ridiculous. And now they're saying that he is illegal from Bangladesh and all, right? So here anyway, the Delhi governor, right, lieutenant governor, he has said that illegally immigrants are there, a lot of people are there in Mumbai, sorry, in Delhi. And he has highlighted the Saif Ali Khan incident in Mumbai and said that these people are security threat, and you must deport them, right? So just go through it. So you might have heard, right, a lot of organizations are there that is promoting this illegal immigration. Certain parties are also promoting it, certain NGOs are also promoting it. They are getting the money from abroad and they want to do it for their own vested interest, helping them get the Aadhaar card, ration card, all these things, right? So you know that we have the Passport Act. Passport Act of 1920 says that if you want to enter into India, you have to have a valid travel document. If you don't have the valid travel document, means the government can deport you. Then you are having Foreigners Act 1946. Foreigners Act 1946, what it is saying? It is saying that the government can deport any person, right? If they are a security threat to the country. If they don't have any valid travel document, government can deport them, right? So Foreigners Tribunal, you would have heard, right? Whoever person is impounded as illegal immigrant, you put them in front of the tribunal, tribunal will give the go ahead, then you deport them, right? Foreign regional registration office is there. Any person coming into India with valid document means you have to register yourself with the FRRO. So all these things are the important legislations, right? Citizenship Act 1955, what does it say? It defines the different types of citizenship, right? Whether naturalization or by birth or registration, all these things, right? So just go through it. Citizenship amendment, latest is our 2019 amendment, right? So it provides protection to the persecuted minorities from 3 countries: Afghanistan, Pakistan, Bangladesh, right? Hindus, Sikhs, Jains, Buddhists, Parsi, Christian, right? So these people, if they have entered into India illegally, also, if they have stayed in India 5 years, means we will give them citizenship. Usually it is 12 years it needs to take. You should have entered into India legally and then stay 12 years. But because these people are persecuted, in 5 years they are giving, even if you have entered into India illegally, right? So just go through it. And this problem of illegal immigration and all can be solved only if CAA is implemented, right? It has been passed, but rules and all have to be implemented. NRC has to be implemented, census has to be carried out, NPR has to be carried out, then CAA, NRC, NPR has to be linked. Only then the illegal immigration problem can be solved, right? Huge amount of people are illegally entering into India. In fact, Indians who are illegally there in the US, nearly 1 million people are there, right? Of them only some 20,000 are getting deported. 1 million people are there illegal immigrant in US from India, right? So anyway, sources of illegal immigration, porous borders, right? Visa overstays, the Rohingyas, all these people, right? So Article 21, so it applies to even the illegal immigrants, so that is there, right? Article 19, so freedom of movement and all, that is not applicable to the illegal immigrants or foreigners. So Passport Act we have seen, Foreigners Act we have seen, Citizenship Act we have seen, NRC we have seen. Once again, right, NRC as of now has been done only in Assam. You might have heard up to 1971 people who have come into Assam, they'll be given the citizenship. Anybody after that will be deported. They'll be saved by Citizenship Amendment Act until 2019, whoever had come, right? So that is the thing. So Assam Accord important, CAA important, NRC. What is the difference between NRC and NPR? NPR will be the data of all residents. It will include the foreigners who are staying in India legally as well as the citizens. So from them you will have the NRC. So whoever is NRC and there in the NPR means that person is a legal citizen resident of the country. Some person ideally NPR minus NRC should be equal to the legal foreigners staying in India. Anybody not there in both means person is illegal foreigner staying in India who has to be deported. That is the thing. Just read about it. Okay. Border security force. So it is the paramilitary force guarding Pakistan Bangladesh border and all. Our Assam rifle guarding the Myanmar border. Sashastra Seema Bal guarding the Nepal Bhutan border. So these are all the paramilitary force. Then you are having CRPF for tackling Naxalism and all. You are having CISF to protect the security installations, the nuclear power plant, all these installations, right? Industries and all important industries. Then you are having our NSG, National Security Guard, so protecting the bandobast, taking care of the Prime Minister, right? NSG Commando, right? So these are all paramilitary forces. They together called as CAPF, right? So BSF, we have seen NIA, we have seen this, right? NIA is a statutory body under the NIA Act. It will deal with all the terrorism cases. It will implement the UAPA, right? Ministry of Home Affairs, it will implement the immigration law, and also Census Commissioner, Registrar General of India and all come under Home Affairs only, right? So next thing, Trump, he wants to say that he wants to end the citizenship by birth, but it's a big problem. Citizenship in birth is given by the constitution. You want to amend the constitution means, I think out of 50 states in the US, 38 have to agree. So 38 states have to agree the amendment. Only then citizenship by birth will be avoided. So it's very difficult. So that's what I told you. Illegal immigrants, you see 7.25 lakh Indians are there and only 18,000 are getting deported. Okay, so that many people have entered into the US illegally from India itself. So though Trump has said that he will end the citizenship by birth, it's very difficult. 38 states have to agree to the amendment. Okay, and it should stand the Supreme Court's opinion also. So probably if 38 states do it, Supreme Court will have to agree, right? You can't overrule and tell that all these 38 states people are fools, right? So anyway, it's very difficult. Ratification, 3/4 ratification is needed. So Trump has said that he will impose the tariffs on BRICS countries, 100% tariff. Why? Because BRICS countries said that we might look for de-dollarization, right? Trade amongst themselves without depending on the dollar. That angered Donald Trump, right? Impact on India. So after US election is over, census has been falling, right? Every day 1,000 points, 1,000 points, 1,000 points. It's a bloodbath in the market, right? So diplomatic engagement, External Affairs Minister Jaishankar met US official Marco Rubio. So they were discussing all these things: Quad, immigration, tariff, bilateral relations, and all. Right? A Quad prioritization. So you might have heard quadrilateral security dialogue: India, US, Japan, Australia. So it's once again a partnership that will help to promote the common interests of these 4 countries. Right? So India is a member of that. So people say that it's just to counter the China. So China is not happy about Quad. So even Russia is also not happy about Quad. Right, so just know about it. So difference between Indian UN citizenship, basic thing is in US you have double citizenship, right? Both the state as well as the country. Here we are having single citizenship only of the country, no state citizenship. Another thing is dual citizenship, that is not allowed. In US you can be multiple citizen of different countries. Here it's not possible, right? And in India, what is the thing? Birthright citizenship in India. One person must be parent, that is one parent should be Indian citizen, and post 2004 other person should not be illegal immigrant, then that child will be given the Indian citizenship. In US the thing is that any person born in the US soil is US citizen. Okay, so they are saying that we are going to change it, but once again, as I said, very difficult. 38 states have to ratify it. It's impossible nearly. Okay, so these are all some of the things, right? Voting rights restricted to Indians, restricted to US. So naturalization process, this is what I told you, 12 years you have to reside, right? And you need to have knowledge of one Indian language. And this only they have fast tracked, and they have made it 5 years to the persecuted minorities, right? Just go through it. Next thing, our Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, that is there in Pune, it has developed a dengue early warning system based on the rainfall, temperature, humidity and all. So more than 2 months in advance you can predict it based on the rainfall, humidity and the temperature. So this can help in the authorities to take the preventive measure. Whether any stagnant freshwater is there, they can throw it off. Then they can give the awareness campaign. Then they can promote the fumigation in those areas, ensure that the mosquitoes are killed, right? So this is how technology is helping in health, right? It's a Ministry of Earth Science department, but helping the health department, right? So dengue caused by the dengue virus belonging to flavivirus family, spread by the Aedes mosquito, right? So dengue actually we have done very well. Our case fatality rate, our target under NHM was reducing it to 1%, but we have brought it down to 0.01%. That is the case fatality. That is only one death is happening in instances of nearly 10,000 cases of dengue. Only in one case actually the death is happening, right? So symptoms you would have heard: high fever, headache, joint pain, nausea, rash, all these things. Okay, so role of the climate, warm temperature, right, humidity, rainfall, stagnant fresh water, all that will promote the dengue virus. Okay, so this particular model of IITM, okay, developed by IITM in Pune, it uses the predictive model. Before 2-3 months in advance you can get the data based on temperature, rainfall and humidity. Okay, so you under the NHM we are having National Vector-Borne Disease Control Program, right? So it is to prevent and control vector-borne diseases like dengue, malaria, chikungunya, Zika, Nipah, our COVID. All these are vector-borne diseases. Leishmaniasis, right? Our what to say? Our filariasis. All these are vector-borne diseases, right? So next article, it is with respect to Andhra Pradesh's Chief Minister. So he highlighted the importance of green industrialization at the World Economic Forum. So World Economic Forum Davos Summit you would have heard in January, right? All the who's who of the people who run the world, right? When we say people who run the world, it is not the politicians. No person, the real power does not change itself every 5 years or 4 years. The people who are behind the scenes, who are permanent last 200-300 years, they are the people who are ruling the thing. We don't know who it is, but those people and all, they also will not be there. They will also send their representative only here. They will not be seen. So those people, they control what the world is going to implement, what trade policy, what thing they have to do in the coming years, that they are doing, right? So here Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister highlighted the green industrialization, right? Sustainable development, green industrialization, they all go hand in hand, right? So implementation of renewable energy, energy efficiency schemes. You might have heard perform, achieve and trade scheme, right? So perform, achieve and trade, you are getting the energy saving certificate. So once you are able to have the energy saving certificate, you can sell it, you can make the money, right? You are also having the carbon credit trading scheme, CCTS, right? Indian carbon market, CCTS, that is there, right? So you are having the green credit program, you are creating the afforestation and all, then you can get the credit and sell that thing, so that you will make the money, because you have created the carbon sequestration. You will be paid, and anybody who is emitting more, that person will buy it from you so as to meet the quota. So a green credit program, perform, achieve and trade, energy saving certificate, right? National mission on enhanced energy efficiency, all that is very important. And even the discoms, they are mandated to purchase a certain quantum of renewable power, right? So these are some of the things that we are currently implementing to promote sustainable development. And you might have heard sovereign green bonds and all. So how the people are raising money, to that money will be given only for the green activities. So you can invest in such bonds. Of course the return will be a little bit less, so that's the green premium or greenium. You are willing to forego another extra 1 or 2% interest rate in view of sustainable development, right? So you might have heard of our India Green Building Council. I told you, right? IGBC. So they are having the standards. GRIGA ratings is there, IGBC ratings are there, LEED ratings are there, right? So LEED platinum status, all that. Promoting the circular economy, biodegradable materials, public-private partnership. See, that is what there should be: massive promotion, massive investment in recycling, waste collection, the afforestation, the desalination, and then mass afforestation should be done. It's very easy. I don't know why they are not doing. Okay. So World Economic Forum, right? We have already heard it, right? Stakeholder capitalism. So created by Klaus Schwab of Germany, right? It's headquarters there in Switzerland. So they say that it's a non-profit. They are promoted to improve the state of the world. So it gives some reports like global risk report, competitiveness report, gender gap report, future of jobs report, energy transition report, all that. Each of these have been asked in UPSC before. And annually in January they meet in Davos, right, and they'll decide what are the important things that are going to be discussed in the coming years, right. Okay. Next thing, it is with respect to our bullet train corridor, right. So in the election manifesto, the ruling BJP, they have said that they will create the more such corridors, right, in the next current term. Three more corridors. Currently, one corridor being built Ahmedabad, Mumbai, in collaboration with Japan. Now that enough technology and learning and all they have done, they want to create more such networks. So probably they will do it in the golden quadrilateral line, for example, between Delhi, Ahmedabad, and then probably extend it to Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai, Mysore, right? So these type of places only they are going to do, right? So another thing is that they are going to create much more faster Vande Bharat trains and all. So probably that they'll use for the bullet trains. So bullet train means nearly 300 km speed it has to go. Okay, so currently all these lines are being discussed. Just go through it. Another important thing is that Vande Bharat sleeper they have developed. They said that from Delhi to Srinagar they will launch it soon. They said that the line is also ready, everything over and all, but I don't know why they have not yet started the rail service between Delhi and Srinagar, Jammu and Srinagar, right? So golden quadrilateral, it was initiated at the time of Atal Bihari Vajpayee, right? Building of the highways connecting the four metros, New Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, and Kolkata, right? So these are all some of the things. Just go through it. You would have heard of it. It's been managed by NHAI, right? National Highways Authority of India. Now all the road construction they are doing it through PPP only, right? You can't expect the government to build every road. It's a huge country, 3.28 million square kilometer, 1.4 billion people are there. One institution cannot build the roads, right? You involve the public private partnership, then they make the money through tolling and all, right? So economic significance, it connects the ports, industrial hubs, agricultural regions, promotes the trade, brings down the cost of logistics, promotes the tourism, right? Faster movement of even troops for safety purpose, movement of the vehicles, all these things, right? So bullet trains, what are the advantages? Bullet train will promote new technology, more jobs, create new industries. It will reduce the accident rates. Every time people go on the road, they drive like crazy, and then they get killed or they kill the others, go ram into them. Even the trains are like a lot of accidents are increasing, right? Every month, one or the other derailment is happening. So they have to improve the safety, rail safety. Okay. So challenges and criticism, very difficult to acquire the land, right? A huge land acquisition cost will be there. Once again, how many trees they are going to cut, all these things, they have to do the afforestation at least. If it is unavoidable, they have to do afforestation, massive afforestation should be done, right? So all these things. So the next scheme, it's about Beti Bachao Beti Padhao scheme. So the Beti Bachao Beti Padhao scheme, chief minister, sorry, the prime minister has said that this particular scheme has helped, save the girl children, reduce the female feticide, infanticide, and all, and improve the child sex ratio. Especially in places like Himachal Pradesh, Haryana, and all, the child sex ratio is very less. Okay, so in those places, the child sex ratio has improved. So it was launched itself in Haryana only at Panipat by the Prime Minister in 2015. And you might have heard of this Prenatal Diagnostics Technologies Act that has, that bans all the sex determination test and all. So it's being implemented. Okay. And through the awareness campaign, it is decreasing. So probably National Family Health Survey 6, the data will tell what is the child sex ratio, all these things, right? So I have to go through it. It's 9:30 in 2023-24. Okay, probably it will improve further. The sorry, the UN. I'm sorry, WHO, right? WHO has said that the child sex ratio at birth is around 951, 952. That is the natural sex ratio. So if it is a 930, still we are 21, 22 short. Okay, there should be at least 950 girls to be born for every 1,000 boys. So we are still short. Okay, gross enrollment ratio of girls, it is increasing at secondary level. Okay, so that is 6th to 8th. Institutional deliveries have increased. Okay, Janni Suraksha Yojana, Matru Vandana Yojana, our Rashtriya Bal Swasthya Karyakram, Janani Sishu Suraksha Karyakram, Surakshit Matritva Ashvasan, PM SMA, Surakshit Matritva Abhiyan, Lakshya scheme, our mission Indradhanush, all these have promoted institutional deliveries, right? Anti-natal care registrations, it has increased to 80.5. At least 80 pregnant women come and test whether pregnancy is good or not, like any problem there or not. So Surakshit Matritva Abhiyan is promoting that free antenatal checkup on 9th of every month for every pregnant woman, right? So Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, we've already seen it. It's a component of Mission Shakti. So it's a sub scheme under Mission Shakti now, right? So these are all some of the points. Just go through it. Next thing, once again, it's with respect to that illegal migration from India, right? So US Secretary of State Marco Rubio met with the External Affairs Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar regarding the illegal immigration from India, and also they discussed a lot of things with respect to trade. So from India, more than 7.25 lakh Indians are there, right? There are an estimated 7.25 lakh undocumented Indians among the 1.4 million in total. You see here, half of illegal immigrants in US are Indians. That's a very dubious distinction, right? And regarding the H1B lottery and all, that also is being made a lot. They're reducing the number of H1B cards, and also just be aware of that, right? So birthright citizenship we discussed, it's very difficult, right? So all these we have seen. I guess we have seen it again. Once again, despite this, people go from India to US because of lack of jobs here, lack of quality life, a lot of other issues, right? Next thing, it is with respect to the Dhanauri wetland. Dhanauri wetland near Uttar Pradesh, it is there. Gautam Buddha Nagar. In the Dhanauri wetland, it is near the Jewar airport. That is the Noida International Airport. Currently, they are building it. So Dhanauri wetland, as of now, still it is not being protected. Okay, the State Forest Department in Uttar Pradesh has not still given the protection status by classifying it as a wetland. Still not being done. NGT is pestering them, telling them again, again, give the status, give the status. It's nearly 112 hectares, but still they have not done it. Okay, so they're asking why you are not doing it. They are giving only 3 months time. Beyond that, we will not allow. Else, we will put the punishment on you, right? And internationally, to protect the wetlands of international importance, you are having Ramsar Convention, Montreux Accord for the wetlands which are undergoing the threat. So just go through all these things, right? Wetland can be defined under the Wetland Rules 2017. So any water body except that is the built by the man. Okay, so that is the thing. Jewar Airport, Noida, all these things, Dhanauri, so many habitats, groundwater discharge, biodiversity, all these there. Key provisions of the wetland rules, it's notified under the EPA 1986. It applies to the notified wetlands excluding man-made water bodies. That is what I told. Conversion of the non-wetland uses, that is prevented. Industrial or residential development on the wetland is prohibited. Dumping of the waste is prohibited. What is regulated is sustainable agriculture, tourism, aquaculture, all these things are allowed. Okay, so these are some of the points. Wetland authority, state wetland authority will notify, manage the wetlands, right? Wetland inventory will be created. Wetland notification process will be done by state government. Community will be involved in the protection. So these are all some of the points. So what is the ecological importance, right? Habitat for biodiversity, groundwater recharge, preventing the flood control. It will promote ecotourism. It will promote biodiversity. It plays a key role in sacred sites and all. Wetland is be protected, right? So carbon sequestration, all that it will help. Okay. So identification by the state wetland authority, evaluating the biodiversity, hydrological, ecological functions, talk with the stakeholders, send it to the MOEFCC, and then you get approved. Okay. Next thing, India is on track to meet the SDG targets, right? So under NHM, we have seen a lot of SDG targets, right? The maternal mortality rate, infant mortality rate, reducing the case fatality rate for TB, dengue, Kala Azar, leishmaniasis, tuberculosis, filariasis, viral hepatitis, all these things, right? Neonatal mortality rate, our total fertility rate, all that targets are there. So many of which we are on track to achieve by 2030. but except TB nearly 2.5 million new TB cases are there. Apart from that, drug resistant TB, extreme drug resistant TB, multiple drug resistant TB, totally drug resistant TB, all types of TB we are finding. Microbial resistance is increasing. So TB target, it is impossible to achieve, but other things definitely possible. We are on track, whether it is maternal mortality or child mortality, neonatal mortality, infant mortality, we are on track. Okay, but one thing once again we cannot address, we are very poor off in anemia, right? 2/3 of children under 5 are anemic, 56% of women are anemic, 25% of men are anemic. With respect to undernutrition, malnutrition and all, very poor. 1 in 3 children is malnourished, right? And stunting and all, if you take 35% of children under 5 are stunted, 20% of children under 5 are wasted. How are we going to reduce these things? It's a big problem, right? Poshan Abhiyan, PM Poshan, all these things should start ensuring or giving the results. Okay, so this is a national health mission, right? It's been there since 2013. Under this only they are constructing the every health infrastructure, whether it is the hospital, primary health center, community health center, sub-district hospital, multi-specialty, super specialty hospitals. All these things are funded by NHM only, and even buying of the medicines, diagnostics infrastructure, recruiting the medical staff, whether doctor, nurse, everybody giving the salary also under NHM only. Okay, so it addresses all types of healthcare: reproductive, maternal, neonatal, child, communicable, non-communicable disease, adolescent. All these things are covered, right? So just go through it. What are the important programs? So Janani Suraksha Yojana, they are giving the cash incentive so that the woman will give the institutional delivery, whether it is in private or public hospital. Our Matra Vandana Yojana 2.0, so that is also they are giving the cash incentive. If it is the first child, 5,000 rupees in 2 tranches that they are giving. So that also to compensate for account of pregnancy, wage loss will happen. So to compensate for that, but of course that's not under NHM, but it is related to women and child development. So I told Janani Suraksha Yojana. Apart from that, under NHM, what are the schemes? Janani Sishu Suraksha Yojana, right? They are ensuring that delivery is free of cost up to 30 days, mother and child free treatment. And our that is under NHM only. NHM free drugs service initiative, free medicines to whoever visiting the government healthcare facility. NHM free diagnostics initiative, once again diagnostic service to identify the disease, that also given to the public who visit the government health facilities, right? Intensified mission Indradhanush, free immunization for pregnant women, children below age of 5. Rashtriya Bal Swasthya Karyakram, identification of the 4 Ds: disease, disability, developmental delay, any defect, right? Defect, disease, disability, developmental delay, all these things will be identified, and they will report the children who are having any problem. There is a 30 disease checklist. They will report them to the district early intervention center for further treatment. Okay, so that is there. Poshan Abhiyan, once again, in order to ensure better nutrition, right? So until now we concentrated only on the calorie sufficiency. Now they are moving towards the balanced diet, promoting the proteins, promoting the coarse grains and all. Okay, so Poshan Abhiyan and Poshan tracker and all is there. How much stunting, wasting, anemia, malnutrition and all are reducing. Sickle cell disease, this is especially being implemented in the tribal scheduled tribe population, because they are more prone to getting the sickle cell disease. It's a genetic disease. Your RBC will become sickle shaped, it will block the flow of blood and it will cause swelling, all these problems, right? So we have seen all these things, you can just go through it. So we are on track to achieving a lot of indicators, except I said anemia and TB, others we are on track. Next thing, you might have heard of this, the Competition Commission of India under the Competition Act, they ensured that ban will be put on the WhatsApp data sharing. So under the Meta, you have different companies: Instagram, you are having this Facebook, you are having the WhatsApp, and then Threads. All these things you are having, and between these platforms, anybody is having any account means it will be shared with the other group companies also. And the Competition Commission of India said that it is illegal and put the fine and asked them to stop it. Then they appealed to the National Company Law Appellate Tribunal, because CCI appeal will go to NCLAT only, and the NCLAT said that all the services are given free of cost if it is banned means then this company will have to shut down, or they have to provide the service at cost only. And WhatsApp and all is helping boost the e-commerce, all these things. So they have said that the data sharing can be done. Okay, so that is what the thing is, right? So NCLAT, remember, it will take the appeals from various institutions. One is our Competition Commission of India. Apart from that, our NCLAT, it will take the appeals even from the Insolvency Bankruptcy Board. Okay, Insolvency Bankruptcy Board, it also the appeal will go to the NCLAT. Competition Commission of India, that appeal will go to the NCLAT only. Okay, National Company Law Tribunal, from that also it will go to appeal, will go to NCLAT only. Okay, so it is a statutory body under the Companies Act. Okay, so 3 appeals going to the NCLAT. And the Competition Commission of India, it will promote the competition, ensure that the customers' rights are protected, ensure that the unfair monopolies, all these things will be avoided. So Competition Commission of India can take the action against the unfair trade practices, monopoly and all. They can put fine like that. So fine is put on you, you can appeal to NCLAT. Okay, that's the thing. So these are the things we just discussed, all these, right? 5-year data sharing ban, prohibiting WhatsApp from sharing data with Meta users. Fine they put. Okay, so this thing, data sharing, has been put on hold. Now they can share it. Okay. Competition Commission of India, even all the mergers and all in this country has to be approved by the CCI. Okay, only then big mergers which can create the monopoly like situation. For example, our Air India, Vistara, all of them merged. So all that will have to be approved by them, because it can create a monopoly type of situation. So big mergers, acquisitions and all have to be approved by the NCLAT. Only then it will be legal. Okay. So Company Law Appellate Tribunal, again statutory body. So any appeal from Company Law Tribunal, CCI, or even our Insolvency Bankruptcy Board, that also will go to NCLAT only. Okay. Then the next news, our Pooja Kedkar. So she gamed the UPSC. They got the fake caste certificate, fake disability certificate. Somehow got into the service also. So now the UPSC, they have become very strict. Now you have to supply early or caste certificate, disability certificate and all before you write the prelims on itself. Previously only before mains you have to do. And this is probably the first time any person who has gamed the UPSC and then has got caught. Either UPSC have never been gamed, or this is the first time they have been caught, that we don't know. But as of any exam that is there, UPSC is most reliable compared to State Service Public Service Commission. Every test, police case, court case will happen. The thing is that with respect to this case, it said that even her previous qualifications, whatever UG and all she did, that also it's based on the fake degrees and all these things only, caste certificate and all these things only. So previously also she had some government job only. That job also, by gaming it, giving the false certificate only, she wrote the exam and got it. So her parents and all are also civil servants only, and they are in political party also. And they are saying that it's they once again, right, they will tell that it's a vendetta or something like that. Okay, so new requirements, you have to submit all your disability, caste certificate and all prior to prelims itself, right? So this is the thing, addressing the fraud cases, right? Next thing, it is with respect to our crude oil situation. Russia started giving the very cheap discounted crude. So we used to buy from there. More than 30% of our crude coming from Russia only. But now the huge sanctions have been put on Russia, further sanctions. So nobody is willing to use the tankers to transport the Russian crude. Any person transporting the crude, or any person giving the insurance for transport, then US putting sanction on them. Then they can't access the dollar, so their business itself collapses. So now our companies, BPCL, Indian Oil and all, they have to buy the crude oil from elsewhere. because nobody willing to transport the Russian crude. Okay, so that is what this article is saying, because India is importing more than 80% of the crude oil from abroad only. We don't have our own domestic production, not that much, right? So that is the main problem. So the regulatory framework, it will be regulated by the Petroleum and Natural Gas Regulatory Board under Ministry of PNG. Okay, so largest refinery, some data, Jamnagar refinery of Reliance, world's largest, right? So million metric tons per annum, 60 plus capacity. Major oil suppliers, Russia, then West Asia, Iraq, Saudi, UAE and all is there. Okay, so strategic petroleum reserve. So we have the underground storage in a secret location in Visakhapatnam, Mangalore, Padur and all. So capacity we are having. Okay, any environment related initiative, ethanol blending program is there. So the agriculture ethanol, you will take the agricultural feedstock, any stubble or any spoiled grains or vegetables and all, and then you divert it and you give it to the yeast anaerobically will convert it into ethanol, and this will be blended with the petrol. So 20% ethanol blending target by 2025 is there. So probably currently around 15%. So by year of the end of this year, 20% we will reach. And when we do this, it will create circular economy. All the rotting grains in the FCI, much more than the buffer stock is there. Instead of going waste, it will be used for ethanol blending. And the thing is that up to 20% only the engine can withstand whatever that is currently available. If not, you have to create the specific engine that can tolerate the higher ethanol percentage. For that, we have to build a separate ethanol compatible vehicle. So if you do this, the amount of petroleum you are importing, crude oil you are importing will go down. Forex can be conserved, more jobs will be created, stubble burning solution can happen, right? So these are all some of the things. It also is a good, right? Reduces greenhouse gas emission, reduces pollution and all. Okay, so green hydrogen mission is also there. We are producing the green hydrogen using the solar or wind to produce the hydrogen by electrolysis of water, and then using that hydrogen as a fuel, right? So that is the thing, just go through it. So India is the third largest energy consumer, right? And still we are not a full member of the International Energy Agency. We have applied to become from the associate member to the full member, but the problem is we have to be OECD member to be International Energy Agency member. So that's one problem. So probably we might get a waiver based on our unique situation, because we are the third largest energy consumer and we are not a full member of IEA, means it's ridiculous, right? So that's the thing. We import more than 80% of crude from abroad only. Okay, so the exchange rate depreciation and various other geopolitical factors, it can affect the crude oil price, right? So crude oil, it is vulnerable to the external parameters. So if a crude oil price is going to fluctuate, it can cause huge problems, right? People will, inflation will increase, because petrol, diesel is used in the transportation of everything. So if it is going to increase, then it will result in inflation of various other commodities, from vegetables to fruits to every other thing. Then it can cause huge problems, right? So that is why. Let me just do some calculations before I continue. Okay. Okay. So 489 minus 325, right? Okay, another 150 slides, I suppose, right? So quickly, maybe another 1 hour or so, 1 hour 15 minutes. So 145, 245 we can finish it off. Probably by that we can wind it up, right? So these are some of the points. The next thing, usage of loudspeakers, right? So use of loudspeakers not crucial for any religion, as said by the Bombay High Court. Already lot of verdicts are there telling that this loudspeaker and all does not come under essential practice for any religion. So it can be regulated by the state. So some person put a case telling that the azan, through loudspeaker it is being played and causing the issue, and it's violating the noise pollution rules. So under the Environment Protection Act only. So and the court has said that yes, this is you can't need not put it through the loudspeaker. right? So already lot of such verdicts are there, right? So constitutional provisions, article 21 right to life, article 19 freedom of speech and occupation, article 25 religion, all these things. So loudspeakers are not essential, right? Noise pollution rules under EPA. Noise pollution is that causes health issue or annoyance, right? So permissible noise level, so different limits are there, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. and limits are there for residential, commercial, industrial, silent zones like education, hospitals and all. So use of loudspeakers, it's requiring the prior permission, okay, and state has to be notified and get the special permission for if it is a specific purpose, maybe you are doing in night time and all, okay. Violation means penalty can be put. All this comes under EPA 1986 only, okay. It provides the penalty, any person doing this means penalty can be put. And different judicial interventions are there, Church of God case, okay, noise pollution case, forum for sound pollution case, all these things are there. So Church of God case said that loudspeakers are not essential for worship. Noise pollution case said that the guidelines on loudspeakers and fireworks have to be balanced with respect to religious freedom and public health. And sound pollution case said that night loudspeaker restrictions have to be upheld, okay. So it's acceptable only. Next thing, it is with respect to one rare disease, spinal muscular atrophy, okay. See this spinal muscular atrophy, it is a genetic disorder. It causes the muscle weakness and the wasting. It will affect the motor neurons in the spinal cord, and this spinal cord only will control the voluntary muscle movement. Now if you are having this particular disease, then you will have difficulty even in breathing, even in swallowing. You will get a curved spine, right? You will get the weakness in shoulders, hips and all, and lot of respiratory infections and all can happen. And there are different types of spinal muscular atrophy. Type 0, it is a very rare, it begins before the birth itself, in the fetus itself. Type 1, that is the most common, it is also known as Wernicke-Hoffmann disease. Type 2, it happens in the infant stage, 6 months to 8 months, 18 months. Type 3, it is the mildest form of SMA. Type 4, it happens in adults after 35, okay. So the thing is that this disease can happen at any age, okay. It does not affect the intellectual capability, okay. It does not affect the sensory nerves, but problem is muscle weakness and all will be there, okay. And it is a rare disease, so we are having national policy for treatment of rare diseases. Under that 50 lakh is given to every patient who is suffering from the rare disease. Now with respect to the SMA, that is spinal muscular atrophy, still though there is a guarantee of 50 lakh from the government, the treatment is very much inaccessible. Cost of the therapy is ranging between 50 lakh to 8 crore per patient, okay, as said by the government. So it is costing crores of rupees, okay. And there is one medicine called as risdiplam. This risdiplam only is a cure, in the sense that it will reduce the ill effects, the symptoms and treatment and all, okay. So certain genes are there, those genes will not produce certain proteins. If you eat this medicine, means it will produce the certain proteins, and your body will become stronger, muscle will become stronger. But only problem, this medicine very costly, okay. So they are saying that government should help the people, because 8,500 people are suffering from this rare disease. And they are quoting one research telling that this can be produced in India for 3,000 per year itself, okay. So government should look into it, like that they are saying. And here what you have to notice, there is this national policy on rare diseases. 63 diseases are covered under this, and for this, for the patient, 50 lakh is given by the government, okay. And more than 1,100 people have benefited from this by getting the 50 lakh and the treatment. So there are classifying the rare disease into 3 categories. Group 1, disorders which can be cured by one-time treatment. Group 2, diseases requiring long-term, lifetime treatment, but the cost of treatment is less. Group 3, diseases for which the definitive treatment is available, but it is a very challenging, and that is to bring the cost down, it's challenging, it's very high cost, and lifelong therapy needed, okay. And for all these 3 cases, the government is establishing 12 centers of excellence. So these 12 centers of excellence are there in the 12 cities across the country. Okay, so in these places you can go get yourself treated, and apart from that, the 50 lakh also given for your treatment, but accessing it very difficult. And apart from that, the bureaucratic red tapeism is preventing people from getting the benefit. That is why people with this spinal muscular atrophy, even they are not able to get. There are like 8,500 people suffering from this, and you give that treatment means they can improve their quality of life. So SMN protein deficiency, you eat it means that particular gene will start producing the protein. Okay, it's autosomal recessive disease, so both parents must carry the gene. Okay, next thing, the risdiplam treatment. So oral medication, it's modifying the SMN2 gene splicing, increases the SMN protein function. It addresses the root cause of SMA. Okay, so constitutional provisions, Article 21, right to life. So right to health is there under Article 21. So government has to provide the health care, not wash its hands off. That's what they're saying. So this Paschim Banga Khet Mazdoor Samiti was a state of West Bengal. Supreme Court said that denial of timely medical treatment violates Article 21. So the people should be given the prompt treatment. It's a responsibility of the government, right? So rare diseases also they have to consider, right? So next thing, foreign borrowings turn dearer for India, of course. Why? Because rupee is depreciating. I borrow the money $100. At that time, rupee 85 rupees. Next 1 month later, it has become 90 rupees. Means my repayment, the EMI payment will increase both for the principal as well as the interest rate, because rupee is weakening, going down and down and down. That's the big problem, right? So rupee depreciation is problem, but those who are earning the money in dollars and sending to India, for them jolly only. But whoever going to US for studying, they have to pay more money, right? So initially you go to US for masters, maybe 50 lakh enough. Now 80 lakh, 90 lakh needed, right? That much cost has increased, right? We are importing huge crude, that will cost huge amount of money. Export will become more profitable, but import will become more costly, very costly it will become. That's the big problem, right? So what are the short term measures? RBI can intervene, sell the forex, bring down the rate. How long they can do, we don't know, right? So we need to develop the trade surplus, we need to develop the domestic replacement or thing we have to do. That is why Atmanirbhar Bharat and all we are promoting. We need to attract the FDI. Okay, these are some of the things. Next thing, it is our with respect to the Niti Fiscal Health Index. So first time this Niti Fiscal Health Index has been launched. Of course, you know what is this Niti Aayog, National Institution for Transforming India. This Fiscal Health Index of 2025. It is ranking the fiscal health of the major Indian states for the first time. Okay, so 2025. What is the data means? See, it's taking the data from 2022-23 only, but given in 2025. So fiscal health index 2025. Okay, so they are evaluating the fiscal health of these 18 Indian states. So what are the parameters means? They are taking first one, quality of the expenditure. Okay, so quality of expenditure is how much a percentage they are spending on the developmental activities. Then revenue mobilization, whether the state is bringing its own money, state's own revenue, you have to increase that source. Maybe everybody should start a taskmark like thing in their own states and make a lot of money. That is the only way to bring your own money. Fiscal prudence, you must not waste the money on useless things, right? So you must not give everything free, subsidy, free bus ride, free electricity, free water, everything free, right? Whose money it is to give for free? So fiscal prudence. Debt index, right? How much liability you are having, how much interest payment you are having outstanding. So you have less amount means good. Debt is sustainability. So your GDP will grow, that is a gross state domestic product, that will grow. How much percentage that is growing and how much percentage your debt is growing. So if it is GDP growing more than your debt means it's good. So based on this, they have ranked the countries. So which is the best country means Orissa, it has got the score of 67.8. Then Chhattisgarh 55.2, then Goa 53.6. That is the best performers. Okay, so these are some of the points, right? Bottom states, it's mainly West Bengal, Punjab, they are all little bit at the bottom. Okay, so once again, these are all examples of competitive federalism. So after this, at least the state will think that okay, we are getting the poor rank, let us improve it next time. So same psychology as the students only, right? Maybe in next exam at least we will do better. That is the idea here, right? So just go through it. We already discussed these things. So Niti Aayog created in 2015. It will provide the policy input to the government. They will create the short term policy, medium term policy, long term policy and all, and they will give the report to the government. Maybe government will consider that report, and for the development they will implement these reforms, right, as said by the Niti Aayog, right. So Niti Aayog, it has certain schemes also it's implementing, like our AIM, Atal Innovation Mission, Atal Tinkering Lab and all you would have heard, right. So Team India Hub, think tank, India 2047 vision, right. So it does the impact of the different schemes, how well it is done, what course change or correction should be done. So like this indices and all it does. So competitive federalism it promotes. It helps the creates the indices to track which state is implementing the SDG and all. So that's the work of Niti Aayog. So chairperson, prime minister, vice chairperson appointed by the PM, cabinet rank. So there'll be chief ministers, lieutenant governors as members and all. Okay, let's go through it. Key initiatives of Niti Aayog, our aspirational district program, aspirational block program and all are there. All these districts are the backward in the socio-economic parameters, literacy, child marriage, poverty, unemployment, all these are high. So these districts, they are targetedly improving all these parameters. In these districts, they will take the government schemes for the improvement of the people to the people. Like for example, Awas Yojana, Jal Jeevan Mission, Hriday scheme, then our Ujwala Yojana, then our intensified mission Indradhanush, then Swasthya Suraksha Yojana, then our Kisan Credit Card, Narega, Rural Livelihood Mission, all these things they will implement in these areas. Jandan Yojana, Aadhaar saturation, all these things, right. Atal Innovation Mission to promote the innovation and entrepreneurship, Atal Tinkering Labs, Atal Startup Initiative, all these things are there. Digital India Initiative, so it will create the digital public infrastructure policies to ensure that using the digital technology, using ICT, we will improve the quality of services we are providing to the citizens. So e-governance initiatives like DigiLocker, National Health Stack. So national health stack also, see the main thing, you are creating the Ayushman Bharat identity card and all is there. So this card and all, it will be part of the national health stack. Apart from this, the number of hospitals, doctors, nurses, all the data will be there. What type of diseases are more, what type of diseases are less, all the data will be added to this. Then based on that, you have all the data. Whoever is the topmost policy maker, maybe health minister, health secretary, secretaries of the states, they all will sit together and then decide in which place which thing is poor. Maybe in one district the immunization is less, then they will improve that in that district. So this national health stack will create a huge database where all the relevant data with respect to number of hospitals, number of malnourished children, all this will available in the district wise, and the patient health record also will be available. So then apart from this, what is the shortage of drugs here, what is the shortage of diagnostics there, all that you will know. So you can have the targeted intervention. So these are all possible only because of the digital technology. Okay, so now the digital public infrastructure and all, they are improving. So with the blockchain, AI, all these things, we'll have better we'll try to the whatever type of efficiency in providing the government service to the people, in unbeknownst level it will increase, probably quantum leap we will have, right. So Niti Aayog important reports: SDG India Index, Health Index, Export Preparedness Index, State Energy Climate Index, Fiscal Health Index. So all these things, once again, ranking the states based on their performance. State Energy Climate Index means which DISCOM is having the proper electricity policy. If you are giving the electricity for free, your modernization is very bad, your infrastructure is very bad, transmission loss is very high, then you are in debt, then means you will get a poor ranking in the energy climate index, your particular DISCOM. People have converted the DISCOM into their own fiefdom. The state owned DISCOMs, they are giving this party will tell I will give 200 unit free, that party will tell 300 unit free. Whose wealth it is they are giving for free to everybody, right. Fiscal health index, we already saw it. Export preparedness index, right, how easy it is for you to export, what is the cost of export, registrations, approvals, how difficult it is, how easy it is. Health index, once again, parameters, health parameters are there. SDG India Index, different SDGs are there, some how much, 15, 16 SDGs are there now. So each of this, access to ensuring no poverty, access to health, drinking water, clean fuel, all these things, right, progress will be tracked. Next article regarding ADHD. So ADHD, you might have heard, it is found in the school children. It's a brain disorder that will affect the person's behavior. Person will be always unattentive. From one thing he will jump to another thing, then jump to another thing. You can't even capture the attention of that person. So that's a very irritating thing, right? So they will always be restless, talking excessively. Whatever comes to their mind, they will talk, whether it is like irrelevant or irrelevant, whether the person is interested in listening to their yapping or not, they don't care. Keep on, they will talk, right? So these are the things, right? So even I am also keep on talking. I don't know who is listening, what's happening, but I also keep on talking, but not based on ADHD, but because I have some data to discuss, so I'm doing this monologue, right? So these are some of the psychological disorders. Usually in the school children it will be seen. So you have to manage the symptoms. There's no cure or anything. You have to manage the symptoms. For that, first you have to diagnose them. Then you give some supportive therapy, some counseling, all these things, and then you have to. Problem is, you take a national mental health development program. How much money we are allocating for the mental health? Only 40 crore. Imagine country of 1.4 billion people, uh, 40 crore we are allocating for the 1.4 billion people, including research and development for treating the mental disorder. We don't have enough psychiatrists, we don't have enough psychologists. Even if they are there, their job opportunities are very poor. We don't have the nurses for this, they don't have the paramedics who are trained for this, right? If they are saying that 1 in 5 persons in India need some type of mental health support, not that every person is depressed or mentally ill, but a person, some counseling support, at least 1 in 5 person needs it, right? So India is ranking number 1 in all types of suicide. One main reason is the lack of support. That is why you might have heard our e-Sanjeevani and all is there, telemanas is there. So now they are promoting at least some type of healthcare. Because of lack of people, at least telehealth they are promoting, right? So these are some of the things with respect to ADHD, right? Forgetfulness, lack of concentration, they'll forget all the things, right? So it has a genetic component, right? And some environmental factors also have been identified, right? So you have to give some stimulants, right? And then counseling, all these things, right? Challenge in India, anytime any person goes to doctor, mental health purpose, mean they will tell person is mental or something like that, right? So that is one thing, stigma is there, right? So National Mental Health Care Act is there, 2017. So this advanced directive, any person, they can choose what type of treatment they want. Any person, they will get the electroconvulsive therapy only after anesthesia. Everyone has the right to get the mental health care. All these things are there, but 40 crore only there to implement it, right? Manodarpan initiative for the mental health of students, telemanas, e-Sanjeevani, all that also you can mention. Next thing, with respect to the Narega, no additional funds. So Narega, you might have heard, it is guaranteeing every rural family 100 days of work, right, in a year. So it's a family based, it's not individual, it's family based. So in one family, two of them are there, each got 50 or one got 75, another 25, means the guarantee is over. Above that, you get the job, means if demand is there only you will get, right? So the centrally sponsored scheme, central government gives some money, state government has to put some money. Thing is that the central government and state government, they have to spend more money, especially now that the private investment has reduced. So more money is needed, but once again shortage is there. Okay, they are not willing to spend more. So these are some of the things. So Narega, it has helped eliminate lot of poverty in the rural areas, ensuring the legal right to work. Okay, so they will create the infrastructure that is beneficial for the local rural community, like houses or power infrastructure or lakes or roads, all these things they will build. Okay, and the women are also the major beneficiaries here. And through the direct benefit transfer, Aadhaar enabled payment will be given within 15 days. And social audit and all will be done by the Gram Sabha, right? And the self-help groups and all have been trained to do the auditing, whether actually it is being done properly, what is the quality of work, whether any corruption is there, all these things. Okay, so any person above 18 years who are willing to work, they can apply for this, they can get the Narega job card. And funding is a centrally sponsored scheme. You can see here 100% of unskilled labor cost covered by central government, 75% of material cost, and 6% of administration cost. Rest have to be borne by the state government. Okay, So constitutional provisions, Article 41, right to work, Article 21, right to life with dignity, Article 46, once again weaker section means our people have inserted certain castes, so it's a true anyway. Article 46, Article 16, equality of opportunity, Article 48A, environmental protection. So all these things, right? Main thing under Narega, we are creating the lakes, upgrading the lakes, rainwater harvesting facilities, so that's correct only. Then our whip system, you might have heard what is this whip, right? In the parliament, if any meeting or any voting happening means the political party will issue the whip. Of that, the more powerful is the 3-line whip. So 3-line whip is there means you have to attend and vote according to the party stand. If you don't vote means they can recommend for the disqualification also. Okay, that is the thing. So 1-line whip is there, 2-line whip is there, 3-line whip is there. So you can see here 1-line whip means it is informing the members about a vote, but they can choose to abstain themselves. 2-line whip means they have to be present, but does not tell how to vote. You can vote however you want. 3-line whip means largely the norms, you have to vote according to what the party says. 3-line whip you don't obey means you can be disqualified. They can recommend for disqualification. The party can recommend for disqualification to the speaker, that is to the presiding officer. So that's possible, right? So under anti-defection law you can get disqualified. So this is only whip. So the thing is that some people say that it's taking away the freedom of expression of the legislators. Other people say that if this is not done, then the political party will not survive, and democratic system in India will not work. So because party system only keeping the democracy alive, right? So that is the thing here, right? So it's a origin from the British times only. So what is a whip? It is a party official responsible for ensuring discipline. So he will herd the people and then make them vote according to how the party wants them to vote, right? So just go through it. It's a British practice. Appointed by the party leadership, senior members with legislative experience. So all these things you can just go through it. It's not mentioned in the Indian constitution, it's mentioned only in the parliamentary convention, so we follow it. Anti-defection law supports it, yes. 3-line whip is mandatory, you have to follow it. Okay, so 1-line whip, 2-line whip, 3-line whip we have seen. So if not, anti-defection law will fall on you, you can get disqualification because you are getting elected on the party ticket only now. So some of the votes is not for you, but based on the party and party symbol. So you have to be loyal to it, right? That is one argument. So what is it? So 60, 90, so 130 slides left, right? So we can finish it off, not an issue. Another 1 hour or 1 hour 15 or 1.5 hours. Worst case 3:30 we can finish it off, right? So we can continue next article. So this is that Republic Day celebration, right? So Republic Day celebration, lot of different tableaus were there, right? The Ramayana tableau of Uttar Pradesh, that is the Kumbh Mela tableau of Uttar Pradesh, that was famous. Etikopaka Bommalu tableau of Andhra Pradesh, that was famous. The West Bengal showcased the Lakshmi Bandar, okay. So that was also got the famous, a lot of appreciation was there for it also, okay. So these are all some of the things, right? So any other important thing here, right? Uttar Pradesh Mahakumbh tableau, that's it. I guess we have discussed everything. So 76th Republic Day celebration, it is to commemorate the adoption of the constitution, right? So 26 January 1950 constitution came into force. So we became a sovereign democratic republic, right? To commemorate that only the Republic Day is being celebrated. So that is the thing, right? So on the Republic Day, President of India will unfurl the national flag, symbolizing the country's shift from British colony to becoming a sovereign independent republic, right? So President will unfurl it. On the Independence Day, remember, President will hoist the flag from the bottom to the top, symbolizing the birth of the new nation. So please understand, hoisting the flag from the bottom to the top done on Independence Day, because at that day only India born, right? Independent India is born. So from bottom it is going up, then it is hoisted. Republic Day explosion unfurled, right? So it is done by the president. It will symbolize how we have become independent, right? We have become a sovereign republic, not a colony. So just remember this. This can be asked, right? So what is a republic? Elected head of state. Sovereignty rests with the people. Equal opportunities for all citizens. So that is the backbone of India, right? So chief guest was the president of Indonesia, right? So theme was Swarnim Bharat, Virasat aur Vikas, Golden India, Heritage and Development, right? The Virasat means heritage, Swarnim, Swarna, gold, right? Highlights Birsa Munda. So Birsa Munda only Dharti Aaba, Gramin Utkarsh Abhiyan, right? So Daj Goa. So that particular scheme named after Birsa Munda only, Dharti Aaba, then father of the land, right? So Janjati Gaurav Divas, also his birthday only, Birsa Munda. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, noted for integrating the princely states into India, right? So just to go through it, DRDO Raksha Kavach showcased the technology of defense. Tri-service tableau empowered and secured India. Shashakt and our Surakshit Bharat. Surakshit means protection or security. Sashakt, empowered, right? All these things were there. Ministry of Women and Child Development, okay, they did some tableau. Panchayati Raj, they also did something. Jan Bhagidari, that is people participation. Jan Andolan, right? So with participation of the people, contribution from the people, right? Next thing, it is with respect to climate resilient seeds. So the government wants to boost the R&D for manufacturing the climate resilient seeds, because a huge global share is there in these type of seeds, nearly 19 billion market, but we are not capturing that market. So now we want to create our own genetically modified or probably hybrid seeds. So it's hybrid seeds, not genetically modified. So hybrid seeds we want to produce, which will increase the yield, have better salinity resistance, better climate resistance, able to survive the heat waves, resistant to pests, all these things. Okay, with respect to agriculture sector, 42% of the population involved in agriculture, contributing 80% to the GDP. Okay, main challenges, lack of water, climate change and all, resulting in inconsistent yield, right? So as a result, exports also is coming down. So we want to address this so that farmers income will be doubled and farmers income will increase, right? So the CIA has proposed a PLI scheme, just like how it is there for the other sectors. They want to promote a PLI scheme for seed manufacturing also. Okay, India is currently having only 1% in the global seed export market, whereas globally, see, it's a $14 billion market. We want to capture at least 10% of it. Right now, we are having only 1%. So for that, we are promoting the development of the hybrid seed lines. Right. So remember, it is not GM; it is hybrid. Okay, so hybrid you can do through conventional breeding itself, right? Or you can also employ gene editing technology to develop the hybrid. Gene editing technology means you will just remove some gene. Okay, you will not add the gene from another species. GM, it becomes only if you are adding the genes from another species. BT cotton is called GM because it's adding the Bacillus thuringiensis gene, Cry1AC, Cry2AB, all these things to the plant. That is why it is genetically modification. Gene editing means you are just removing some gene, okay, or altering it and creating the mutation. This is not involving any foreign gene adding to it. So as a result, gene editing also can be used to produce the hybrid seeds, not only the usual conventional breeding method, right? Multiple rounds of breeding, all these things. Not only breeding, gene editing also can be used. It's different from GM. Okay, understand that. So climate resilient seeds specially produced will be done. So this they are promoting. Probably ICAR, National Seed Corporation, all of them will be involved in this research, right? Drought tolerance, flood resistance, withstanding the waterlogging, salinity, heat tolerance, pest withstanding, all these things are important. So even if it has the shorter growing cycle, means also it will give more time to farmers. That will be good. Okay, avoiding the unfavorable weather. And one thing we have to do is we need to ensure that irrigation is there. For that, once again, as I said, the desalination plant, that is the one of the things. Another thing is you need to have the rainwater harvesting. Here and there you have to harvest the rainwater, decentralized manner, not huge dams, right? That's wrong. Decentralized water storage should be there. Okay, So now we are also promoting the organic farming and all. We need to promote the liquid nano urea, liquid DAP, all these things, not go for the conventional fertilizer. It's harmful for the environment. So conventional breeding, right? Selected crossbreeding, all these things, genetic engineering, okay, CRISPR gene editing, big data analytics. So know all these things, very important. Genetic engineering appraisal committee was about to say this. So it only will approve the GM organisms and all. Okay, it's under the EPA Act, under the MOEFCC. Okay, so it will approve the GM crops, the trials, all these things, regulation of the genetically modified organisms, it monitors biosafety, it grants the clearances, all these things. Okay, some hybrid seeds, remember it's different from your genetically modified thing. Okay, BT cotton is a genetically modified seed. Okay, hybrid seed is not having the foreign gene, remember that. Okay, that is why I want to make it clear, right? So hybrid seeds and all, you would have heard this Pousa Jwala, that and all hybrid seeds, Pusa Snowball K1, Pusa Hybrid 2, all these are then NCRT class 12, right? So these are all hybrid seeds having some specific characteristic, right? Sonalika, Kalyan Sona and all you would have heard, right? All these are hybrid wheat varieties. So even our for rice, you are having that IR8 and all, no, right? Those are all hybrid, not genetically modified. This thing, Supreme Court has said that high courts are not giving bail even in cases where you can make a case for bail. It's not a serious offense. Even in that, the courts are not giving the bail. So Supreme Court is actually a little bit right, chiding the high courts that the bail is not given. Okay, so the thing is that here there was this person, Muslim cleric. He said that he abducted one mentally challenged boy and he converted them. So they put them in jail. So court said that he has been in jail for 11 months and charge sheet has not been filed and you have not moved on with the case. Then at least you leave him out because it's not that he has done some dacoity or murder or rape. And the court has said that in such cases and all, you give the bail. Bail is the norm, jail is the exception, like that they are saying. Okay, so that is the thing. So let's just give me 1 minute. I'll check whether it's audible or not. If I've been speaking for a long time, so I just want to ensure whether battery is good. Sign ஓடுமா இவ்வளோ இன்னும் 1 hour ஆயிரும். ஓடுது அப்படின்னா யூஸ் பண்ணிக்கலாம். ஆஃப் பண்ணிடவா? அப்படியே கண்டினியூ பண்ணிக்கலாம். இது என்ன கலர்ல இருக்கு? Right, so we can continue. I have replaced the battery. So that is the thing. They want not giving bail. High court, trial court and all reluctant to give the bail. So just know what are the different types of bail, right? Temporary release from custody, right? Condition is that you must appear in the court, you have put the sign and all every day, like that. Purpose to preserve liberty, article 21, preventing arbitrary detention, to promote the judicial efficiency, right? Overcrowding is happening. And the big problem is even the people who are going to the jail for small things, petty crime and all, they become friends with the serious criminals because bail not given to them. Then they start learning the more dangerous things. So why already no space is there under trial and the person who is criminal convict, they are all staying together. So give the bail to the people who who are in jail. Even their charge sheet is not filed, case has not even reached the stage of the trial, still they get arrested and they are inside. Our case is going on for many years, but it's not a serious case. Give bail, like that court is saying. Okay, so regular bail, post arrest, pending trial. Okay, so that's what you would have heard. No, bailable offense, non bailable offense. So bailable offense means in which it's not a serious offense. It's less than 3 years imprisonment. So most of the time the magistrate will be inclined to give you the bail. A non-bailable offence means you can't claim the bail as a matter of right. It's left to the discretion of the magistrate because you are accused of an offence which is serious, more than 3 years imprisonment. So non-bailable offence means does not mean that bail will not be given or bail cannot be given. Just that the convict, just that the accused cannot go and ask as a matter of right. It's the discretion of the magistrate. Anticipatory bail. So if you want to prevent the arrest, apprehension of arrest, then you can apply for it. Interim bail, temporary pending decision of the regular bail, you can get it for temporary period. So bailable versus non-bailable offence. So bail is a right. Okay, example minor offence, bail is discretionary, non-bailable offence, serious crime, right? So all these things are there now. Once again, CRPC and all is old. You must see the Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita. BNSS only now is there. So see that section. Okay, where to apply bail? For the bailable offences, you can apply in the police station. For the sessions court, for the non-bailable serious offence, magistrates court also you can apply. So wherever your case is there, there you can apply. Okay, high court, if it is a court is pending, it is a complex thing, it's a appeal, then you can get. Supreme Court means exceptional circumstance, right? So factors means stage of trial, public interest, accused's conduct, seriousness, all these things only based on that they'll give the bail. Any person who's can tamper the evidence, can intimidate the evidence means then they won't give bail, right? So misuse of bail is the big problem. A person can tamper the evidence, intimidation, absconding, all these things, that's the thing. Okay, Supreme Court guidelines, personal liberty is a right. Wise discretion by the court. So caution in the sensitive cases, all these things are there, right? So next thing, it is with respect to geotagging. Once again, conduct of elections only, Delhi elections. So they have done the geotagging of the poll booths which are vulnerable. So that particular area, geotagging means what? You take the photo and you attach the GPS, that is latitude, longitude. Then if you click on that polling booth, it will immediately, you can put the direction, you can use the maps and reach there. So any urgent thing means all the vulnerable booth and all, any person can reach, especially police personnel and all. So that is only geotagging. So they are using geotagging for the polling to identify the vulnerable booths, take the precaution and all. Another thing, they are also having the chat bot. So any person they have the doubt means chat bot, especially booth agent and all, what is allowed, not what is allowed, model code of conduct, what it is. So citizen or even the candidate or even the booth agents, they can use the chat bot, get the queries, okay, what is allowed, not allowed and all. So that is the thing. So geotagging, and then chat bots, security, that is what paramilitary forces will be involved, model code of conduct, right from the date, that is the election commission will hold the press conference telling that this is the date. From that second onwards, the model code of conduct will apply in the areas where the election is going to be held, in the constituencies where the election is going to be held. Okay, so model code of conduct, it has no legal, it can't be legally enforced, right? So the thing is that it's like a voluntary code of conduct that the parties agree that we will uphold, so that the sanctity of elections is maintained, right? So we are currently nearing 100, another 100 pages. So I guess another 1 hour we can finish it off. Okay, so geotagging is just taking the photo, you add the latitude, longitude, you can store it in the server and all. So this they are using for a lot of schemes, right? Narega is there, progress of the work, every day you take the photo, upload it, right? When you take the photo, you are having already GPS and all. So in the photo timestamp itself, the coordinates also comes along. So you can upload it, and so the authorities and all can track it, how the progress is happening and all. So for different schemes, we are using election management, crowd management and all we are using. Okay, India, China to resume the direct flights and issue visas, right? So now only they are trying to rebuild the ties, right? But once again, nothing much advantageous to us. China, the Doklam standoff, the Galwan issue, already now China, whatever some land they have encroached, they have not withdrawn from it. So it's actually for some reason why we are doing it, we don't know. But the thing is that China has become belligerent and they are not going to back down. So Manasarovar pilgrimage we are going to restart. Okay. The thing is that whatever area we patrolled prior to the Galwan incursion, that area fully and all we are not able to do. Some area still with China only. So now somehow they are resuming the talks, right? Direct flight, visa, people to people exchange, Manasarovar Yatra, all that they are doing. China constructing huge dam near the Arunachal in the Great Bend. Before the Great Bend, they are building it. So water data they are sharing, all that they are saying. Okay, so it's remains to be seen. I don't think hereafter any fake friendship with China and all will not work. That right? They see us as our enemy, and we have to see as them as our enemy only. We can't simply feign the friendship. We are afraid of China. That is the truth, and they are too big for us to do anything. So that's the big problem. But another important thing is rare earth and all. You see, China is only home to majority of the rare earths, right? So huge amount of rare earth. China is only the major producer, exporter, and all. And they can put the embargo on India, telling that we will not sell to you. Then what we will do? We are importing huge amount of fertilizers, raw material for the fertilizers. Take DAP, 50% of DAP we are importing, and the majority from China only. And even take the drugs, active pharmaceutical ingredient, the key ingredients of drugs we import from China. What if they don't give it? Tunnel boring machine we import from there. What if they don't give it? Already some apps and all we banned it. Chinese telecom companies and all we have not allowed them to participate in the 5G election and fine 5G auction and all. Okay, so these are all some things that are there. But once again, I think things have exploded much. So we have to be careful. SEO chairmanship. So this is the thing. So SEO summit. Once again, China is going to. Previous time it was held in Astana in Kazakhstan. So we are member of SEO, BRICS, RATS, all these things with China. So multilaterally we are engaging with China. So we are part of these members and all. So SEO chairmanship this time going to go to China in 2025. Previously Kazakhstan it was there. So that for that we have shown some support. Okay, so that's the thing here. So just to know about what is SEO, these are all prelims questions they'll ask. Recently, Belarus has become the 10th member of SEO, so please study about it. Okay, so that is the thing. SEO is there to combat the terrorism, separatism, extremism, all these things. Okay, to promote the economic development, energy cooperation, all these things. Okay, so 10 members. Recent is the Belarus, right? So these are all some of the points, right? Shanghai 5, what it is that you know. RATS, please study what it is. Okay. Kailash Manasarovar Yatra, that is the thing. It's a spiritual yatra for the Hindus, Buddhists, and Jains. But it got stopped because of COVID. Then the border tensions ensured that it did not resume. So now we are starting it back. There are two ways, one through Lipu Lake in Uttarakhand, other through the Nathula in Sikkim. Okay, so just know about it. We are not having a recognized border with China. What we are having is LAC only. It's the de facto border. Okay, so this de facto border, let me just check once again for the audio. Right, yeah, okay, it's working fine. So the de facto border, we have the LAC. This is actually, some parts of it, even in Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh, some parts of it are under the Chinese control. And of course, Aksai Chin in Ladakh, some small parts they are trying to control Arunachal, but now somehow Arunachal also, few villages and all construction it's there. In what is our area, they are constructing some things, right? So these are all some of the things. Border agreement we had 1993, 96, 2005, but once again, it's too big to contain the difference, right? 1962 war. Okay, hydrological data sharing, Brahmaputra, Sutlej. So we are building the dam before the Great Bend. So what is going to happen, nobody knows, right? See the trade relation, the dichotomy, huge trade deficit. We import more than $100 billion from China. We export absolutely nothing, right? So that's the problem. So India's restriction on Chinese investment, India's restriction on their participation in the 5G auctions, right? Chinese apps have been banned. Okay, So our import, we are dependent on China for a lot of imports, whether it is the API for drugs, whether it is for the fertilizers, all these things. Okay. The Belt and Road Initiative, China's veto in the nuclear supplier group, the direct confrontation between India and China over Galwan, all these things, the threatening posture. So we are member of Quad, but at the same time we are member of SCO, RATS also, BRICS also. So that's the thing, right? So just go through it. Iran also was there. Now Belarus also has joined. Okay, so rats, all these things are there. Next, see this Guillain-Barre syndrome, GBS, it's increasing, right? Suddenly in Pune, a lot of infections have come. What is this Guillain-Barre syndrome is? It's actually a rare neurological disorder. So it's an autoimmune disease. Suddenly the body's immune system will start attacking the peripheral nervous system. Peripheral nervous system means except the spinal cord and the brain, other parts of the nervous system called as peripheral nervous system, here it body will attack it. So myelin sheath and all will get damaged. So as a result, you will lose the capability to walk, you will start having the pain, right? Breathing problem, swallowing problem, all this will happen. And sometimes how the Guillain-Barre syndrome, how the autoimmune disease gets triggered, why the immune system is suddenly attacking its own peripheral nervous system, why it happens is sometimes some infection by bacteria or virus can trigger it in the body. Sometimes a surgery also can trigger the Guillain-Barre syndrome. It's a very serious, immediately you have to get admitted in the hospital. They will start giving the immunoglobulin, okay, and then they will give the symptomatic treatment, and sometimes they will suppress the immune system. So through that only the Guillain-Barre syndrome can be controlled. Then eventually slowly it goes away. Okay, so this Campylobacter jejuni causes the food poisoning. In some people, this food poisoning has triggered the Guillain-Barre syndrome. Okay, another thing you would have heard is Zika virus. So what happened was, if the pregnant woman got the Zika virus, suddenly it triggered the Guillain-Barre syndrome in the pregnant woman. And this contradictorily, what happened is fetus started getting affected with the microcephaly. So this was there. Zika virus infecting the pregnant woman. This triggered the Guillain-Barre syndrome in the pregnant woman, and then microcephaly got triggered in the fetus. So this is all together, it is linked. Okay, and multiple sclerosis you would have heard, that also is autoimmune disease. Suddenly immune system will attack the myelin sheath, okay, of the eyes. So in the multiple sclerosis, directly the nervous system of the brain and the spinal cord will get attacked, myelin sheath of that will get attacked. So similar to Guillain-Barre syndrome only, that also multiple sclerosis, nobody know why suddenly these things get triggered. Okay, so just go through it, very important. So see, this is a myelin sheath getting destroyed, right? So weakness, tingling, rapid progression of the muscle weakness, paralysis, the coordination and balance difficulties, all these things can be witnessed in Guillain-Barre syndrome. So treatment, platform exchange, they will remove the antibody, replace it with the plasma without the antibody, like that. So you will get, immune system will become weak. Okay, so you have to be careful, you will be in the hospital only, you must not get the other infection because of weak immune system. So then rehabilitation, all these care you have to give. Unpredictable variable progression, recovery also it can vary, some in few days, months, weeks, nobody knows what happens, suddenly it gets triggered. Some people believe that the genetic predisposition is there. Okay, then stress also can trigger it. Next thing, it is with respect to the deep seek, right? You might have seen in the news this particular deep seek. Okay, another 89 slides. So this deep seek, suddenly, the China, one company has developed this AI capability similar to the chat GPT and all. Only thing is that this deep seek, it consumes only fraction of the energy what the chat GPT wants. At the same time, the cost that is involved in its development also is less, and it is 80 to 90% as good as chat GPT. So as a result, the huge meltdown happened. Nvidia lost some 20% of the share value. Okay, and as a result, all these huge fall happened in the US stock exchange and elsewhere. This had the impact, because US stock exchange falls means other place also get affected. Okay, so that is the thing. So China, despite all the sanctions, they have put the sanction on China. They can't access the latest semiconductor chips. So they have designed it, they have developed it, they have manufactured it, and now AI technology also they are manufacturing. Okay, so they have developed it. So their own chips, their own technology, design, development, deployment, everything they have done. So that is the thing. Okay, the Magnificent Seven, top performing tech giant like Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft, Google, all these companies, so they are all getting affected because of the deep seek. Okay, eventually AI optimism was there. All this Nvidia and all developed chips, and they could sell it at a huge monopoly because they only have the power to develop this good graphics processing chip and all. So now they made the huge money suddenly because of DeepSeek. DeepSeek users does not need this much NVIDIA type complex, powerful chip. Even simple servers they were able to do it. So that also affected NVIDIA. Okay, so DeepSeek Artificial Intelligence Company Limited of China, they have developed it using the artificial intelligence. It will solve the problems of the specific companies and industries. So sector specific, it can give the solutions, right? So it can handle a lot of query data, all these things. It has the neuro linguistic programming, machine learning, data analytics, all these things is there. Okay, so that is the thing. It can apply market trend prediction, risk assessment. Maybe it would have predicted that DeepSeek gets launched means stock market would fall by 20%. If it had predicted its own impact means then it's a really good DeepSeek. I have to check whether this thing it predicted or not. Someone would have done it. Let me check. Diagnostic support, supply chain optimization, contract and legal document analysis. All these things can be done very fast. Okay. Next thing it is with respect to the green taxonomy. So green taxonomy means once again we have to align the taxation towards the net zero target. Okay, so whatever loan the bank is going to give, okay, so it should be in alignment of the sustainable development and all, and at the same time the income should come for the bank. Imagine I implement the in the wind mill and wind power, I'm not particular company not able to repay means it becomes problem. So you have to put the investment for the bank also. If they are giving loan to the renewable and all, they should be guaranteed of their return. Only then they will be confident to give it. So maybe government can do the credit support, credit guarantee and all. Another thing is the sovereign green bonds and all is there. Even this time, sovereign green bond the RBI issued, but not that much enthusiasm. People were not willing to forego the return because other bond and all 8 9% they will get. Sovereign green bond you will get only 7 6%. The 2% less income they were not willing to forego. And RBI was very disappointed that they want to issue and raise some amount of money, but very less only they were managed to raise, right? So bonds and all are debt instruments, right? So just go through it. RBI estimate that annual climate finance it needs a 2.5% of GDP. So our GDP 3 trillion means a 2.5% of it needs to be there for green finance. In fact, we can do more also. It seems to be not that big a number, okay, but we have to start doing it. And you see here, bank financing only 0.5% of total bank credit is for the green sector. It's a very less. At least some 5 and 10% at least you should do it, right? That's a big problem. Okay, only then the climate change, net zero, and all we can achieve, right? So RBI sustainable finance framework. So green deposits, all these things. You might have a priority sector lending. That also solar panels and all they are having. Sovereign green bond, government wanting to issue the bond and raise the money, which money will go for the sustainable development, green power, all these things. Okay, ESG guidelines. See, ESG guidelines is nothing but environmental, social, and governance. This is specifically the SEBI and all has the ESG reporting guidelines. So companies which are listed and regulated by the SEBI, they have to implement the ethical practice, environmental friendly practice, and they should implement the social responsibility. Okay, so they must not have the impact on the environment. They will try to minimize it as much as possible. They will make the company carbon positive, water positive. They will try to get the more and more solar and other green power. Okay, and they will try to have the proper governance structure. You might have heard inclusive governance, right? Whatever company's leadership, say the MD, CEO, and all are there. They must not have take the huge pay, like 10 times compared to the other employees. Like that it should not be there. And the employees also should have the better social security. Then other thing you can guess, the rainbow inclusion, so that also they want to promote. Okay, so all these things comes under the social criteria. They will try to recruit in an inclusive manner. Okay, so ESG guidelines. So as regulated by the SEBI, it will address social justice, human rights abuse, discrimination, poverty, inequality, all these things they want to include. That is only called as the ESG, right? So that is the thing here, right? It's similar to the corporate social responsibility, but a little bit different. Okay, CSR is also similar to this. Fine. So just go through it. Sovereign green bond we have already seen, right? Next thing, it's with respect to the freedom of speech, right? So freedom of speech, what the court has said it, one man's freedom of speech, one man's martyr can be another man's militant. So that how it is coming possible, it's because of freedom of speech, right? So court has thundered telling that freedom of speech is very important, and democracy should allow freedom of speech, and without that then it's not good. Okay, so that's what the court has said, right? So article 19, right, essential for a democratic society, that only gives the freedom of speech, expression, all these things, right? Six fundamental freedoms, article 19, right? Freedom of speech and expression, press freedom, right to information, all these things. Okay, so freedom to assemble peacefully and without arms, subject to reasonable restrictions. Freedom to form association, again subject to reasonable restriction. Freedom to move, settle, residence, all these things subject to reasonable restrictions, right? Protecting the indigenous tribes, article 371, fifth and sixth schedule and all. Freedom to practice any lawful business subject to public welfare regulations, right? So freedom of speech and expression, right? So the court has highlighted it, right? So simply you cannot put the blame on people telling that it is wrong or anything. Okay, what are the reasonable restrictions on freedom of speech? Security of state, public order, decency, morality, contempt of court, that is disobeying the court, right? Defamation, sovereignty, integrity of India, friendly relations with foreign states. Subject to all these things, you can have the reasonable restrictions, right? So key Supreme Court judgments: Romila Thapar versus State of Madras, Shreya Singhal case, struck down the 66A of IT Act. We have already discussed this, no? 66A, the government can ask the social media intermediaries or the internet companies to remove whatever content it finds, upfront, it doesn't like it. So it said that, such a court said that just because the government doesn't like it, you remove it, means then it's against freedom of speech, right? So Rangarajan case, restrictions must have proximate nexus to the danger, right? Menaka Gandhi case expanded the interpretation of freedom of speech. So just know these important judgments, know their outcome in one line, it will be helpful. Then next news with respect to the DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. So in Congo, the fight is happening. The Rwanda-backed terrorist organization, they are calling themselves the Revolutionary Army. So we don't know whoever side we are, we can tell them as martyr or terrorist, whoever, it's up to you. M23 rebels, they are fighting in the eastern Congo, and they have trying to conquer its capital. They have successfully conquered it also. It's a Tutsi militia. Tutsi are the people around the 15% of Rwanda, 15% of the Burundi. Tutsi are there. Remaining the Hutu people are only more prominent. The Rwanda massacre and all you would have heard. The Hutus massacred the Tutsi, right? Still now Tutsi capturing the Democratic Republic of Congo. The entire East Congo province, they have captured it. Okay, so that is the thing, right? So Rwanda is promoting this Tutsi army to capture the parts of Congo. That is the thing, Democratic Republic of Congo. So that is the thing, you can see here Rwanda, Goma is here only. This is only the East Congo. This area only they have captured. Okay, so where is the Democratic Republic of Congo? You see it. See, it has the access to Atlantic Ocean also. Sometimes you might think it's a landlocked country. It's not. It has access to the Atlantic Ocean. Okay. So So capital Kinshasa, located on Congo River. Congo River is the river that is crossing the equator twice, right? Opposite to the Brazzaville, capital of Republic of Congo. So you can see here they are very close. From the shore you can see Brazzaville. From this side you can see Kinshasa. That is the Republic of Congo. This is DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. Okay, so just go through it. See the bordering countries and all. Right, big lakes and all are here. Lake Tanzania and all are there. So just go through it. Right. The Congo River, tropical rainforest, lot of gorillas, elephants, UNESCO sites are there. Virunga National Park is there. Salonga National Reserve is there. Right, Tanganyika, that is only Tanzania. Tanganyika, Albert, Kivu, Ruwenzori, all these things are there. Ruwenzori is a mountain, others are lakes. Right, it's a tropical dense forest. Right, savanna, high altitude vegetation, all these are found. Huge amount of minerals, 60% of cobalt, lot of other critical minerals are there. M23 promoted by the Rwanda Tutsi militants, they are attacking. Okay, so cobalt supply, hydropower, biodiversity is there. Political instability, leadership change, armed groups, violence, humanitarian crisis, they are part of the mineral supply chain. Geopolitical competition, interest from US, EU, China, right? It hosts one of the largest UN peace operations, but still problem is there. Just like our Haiti, there also problem happening, right? So Navig satellite, so you would have heard navigation in the Indian constellation, that is only Navig satellite. So it is launched by the GSLV. So we are creating our regional navigation system, that is the Navig. Okay, so this Navig, see actually you can access the Navig through the app. Navig Map My India app is there. You don't want to use the Gmaps which is running the GPS, means you can download Navig Map My India. Download it on your phone. If it is working, means your phone has compatibility with the Navig instead of the GPS. So you can this Navig is the regional navigation system. Only few countries have their own navigation system. Navig is one of us. You might have heard Galileo, Baidu, GLONASS, GPS, our Navig. Then Japan also has something, right? Quasi Zenith satellite system, QZSS, that is Japan, right? So up to 1500 kilometers from our borders also it works. So the thing is that we have shared it to the SAARC countries and all. So it's also there. The neighborhood first policy, we have given them access also. So this will help, right? If some problem is there, GPS and all, US can cut off anytime. In war with Pakistan and all, during Kargil time they did it. So now we are having this Navig, so it's possible for us to you rely on our own navigation system. So that is the thing here, right? So standard system, okay, it provides accuracy better than 20 meters and a timing accuracy of 40 nanoseconds. Restricted service, that they are not saying what is the accuracy and what is the thing, right? Personal navigation device, it's like your phone, your car, you will have the touch screen. In that the app will work. That is only personal navigation system. So that is the thing. So it's used for shipping, it's used for time synchronization. For example, ATM and all, timestamp, when you are withdrawing the money, all that uses it. Train tracking, safety alert dissemination, all these things are possible. Okay, so just read about it. So history of ISRO, Vikram Sarabhai 1969, right? Inco Spar, that is the predecessor of ISRO. ISRO directly reporting to the PMO, building the satellite, launch vehicles, all these. One of the successful government institutions, ISRO, right? They are making huge profit also for the money that the government is giving them. They are giving them 10 times the return, right? So Aryabhatta, first satellite. Rohini, first satellite launched by Indian rocket SLV-3. PSLV, successful launch 1994. Chandrayaan 1 discovered water on moon. Mangalyaan 2013, first Mars mission. 2017, 104 satellites in one launch. Chandrayaan 2 orbiter. Lander failed, that you would have heard. Pragyan rover. What is that lander? I forgot. No, Pragyan rover. Vikram lander, soft landing they tried, but hard landing happened and it failed. Right? Chandrayaan 3. So Chandrayaan 3 is a orbiter, right? Sorry, Chandrayaan 2 orbiter successful. Chandrayaan 3 first soft landing. Now eventually in Chandrayaan 4 they will also bring the sample. That's what they're saying. So Aditya L1, Gaganyaan. Next other things and all you remember it. Okay, latest missions and all are there, right? So administrative bodies, Department of Space, Satish Dhawan, Tumba Rocket Launch Center, our Sriharikota, Vikram Sarabhai Liquid Propulsion Center, ISRO complex, all these things just go through it, right? So human spaceflight mission, that and all is there. Gaganyaan, Bharatiya Antariksh Station, right? Next generation launch vehicle, human launch vehicle Mark 3. All these things you read about it. Then you are having the various commercial organizations like Antrix to promote the ISRO for abroad customers, to promote the ISRO for domestic customers done by New Space India Limited. Apart from that, it is promoting SSLV manufacture by the private sector. In space is nothing but it'll accept the request from the private and give them access to the ISRO testing facilities so that the private sector will develop their space technologies in space. ISPA is there. It's a collaboration for brainstorming between public, private, the international space companies, the bureaucrats from the government, the ISRO officials, scientists, engineers, domestic Indian space companies, all of them. They will brainstorm, understand each other's requirements, bottlenecks and all, then address it. That is why ISPA is there. So different launch vehicles, you must learn the launch vehicle Mark 3, GSLV, NGLV, all these things you have to learn, right? Okay. So next generation launch vehicle, reusable launch vehicle technology, okay, super heavy lift vehicle, all these things, just read it. Gaganyaan, Chandrayaan 4, Mangalyaan 2. So Chandrayaan 4 going to be sample return, okay. So this time Chandrayaan 3 did the soft landing. Now Chandrayaan 4 will have the rover sample return also going to be there. So Sukrayaan 1 Venus orbiter mission, Navik reusable launch vehicle, space station, international collaborations, all these things are there. So Artemis Accord, under that only Indian going to space now, under Proba 4, no, Axiom 4 mission, right? So read about it. This is about the nuclear fusion, right? Recently there was the thing in the news, right? This China achieved a huge thing. They were able to maintain the plasma generation for 17 minutes. Okay, so it got the scientists excited. Nobody has been able to do that for 17 minutes. So that China is doing in the next stage. So tokamak experimental advanced superconducting tokamak yeast reactor, that's there in China. This has been able to achieve the 17 minutes, okay, of a generation of plasma. So they are saying that fusion will produce huge amount of power, clean power, no greenhouse gas. So huge amount of power, it can solve the world's power problem, like that they are saying. But the problem is that the fusion will need millions of degrees of temperature, much more than the core of the sun. Only then the tritium, deuterium and all will fuse together, and then because of the fusion, some amount of mass will be generated, and some amount of energy, that is huge amount of energy, will be generated. So two lightweight nuclei colliding and then producing a little bit heavier nuclei and huge amount of energy in the process, that is what fusion is. The fission can cause the pollution, radioactive waste and all. Here radioactive waste will not be produced, that is the thing. But having the thing, it is very unstable, very difficult, and you have to maintain that millions of temperatures of degrees. So maintaining it, maintaining the plasma, then acquire the electricity from it, that's going to be a little bit difficult. So that is what different people are doing, okay. So in UK you are having the jet laboratory that is doing it. Then China yeast reactor, that is also they are doing it. Then other countries, what are the things you have to know? You have to know it. US facility at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory in California, that is there. So total of 163 fusion reactors are currently being under construction, built, operational. So they are trying to do the research, okay. So that is the thing, okay. So this given data given from the fusion device information system, it's a database mentioned, managed by IAEA, okay. Anything related to nuclear, IAEA will be there, okay. So 6 billion investments have come, okay, into the fusion sector. Helion, one company from US, they have said that 50 megawatt of electricity by 2028 itself they are going to be generating from the fusion and giving it to Microsoft. So let's see what happens. Another company also, Commonwealth Fusion System, collaborating with the MIT to generate 400 megawatt of grid scale electricity by fusion by early 2030. So let's see that, right? ITER, so this is the international collaborative project, largest fusion reactor, ITER, being coming up in France. More than 30 countries including India are members, okay. So we are contributing to this project, okay. So according to its current timeline, it would begin deuterium tritium fusion reaction by 2039, producing the 500 megawatt of fusion power. So it's still around 14 years away. So let us see, okay. 15-year timeline for nuclear energy fission. 15 years, that will be a little bit difficult, okay. So that is the thing. So you can see here the Jet Laboratory of UK, they have done this record, 12 megawatt electricity produced by fusion for 5 seconds. So for that much time, they could have given the 10,000 homes power they could have given. So this you have to do endlessly, right? Because how the fusion will do? Fusion will generate a huge amount of energy in the form of heat. Heat will then heat up the water, run the turbine, produce the power. That is how it's going to work. So even if it is working only 1 hour, that huge heat you can store and keep and then use it to heat the water and then produce the electricity. So somehow we have to do it. Okay. So definition of a fusion: two light nuclei combining to form a heavier nucleus, releasing the energy. It powers the sun and stars. So it produces the plasma, all these things. So nuclear fusion, the nuclear fission, splitting the heavy nuclei into the uranium or plutonium, splitting it to the smaller nuclei. So it fusion produces more energy and it is safe, right? Whereas here you have the risky thing, uncontrolled chain reaction, nuclear waste, all these things. So ITER of France, international collaboration, EAST of China, JET of UK, SST1 of India, K-STAR of South Korea, NIF of US. These are all some of the fusion projects. Know it, they can give in the match. Okay. So continuous power for industries, less waste, eco-friendly, fuel availability abundant, because water only, from that only you will extract, right? Is safe, no chain reactions, low risk of accident, all these things. So ITER of France, India is a member. Okay. So India is supplying cryostat diagnostic equipment. Okay. And the nodal agency, Institute for Plasma Research. IAEA Atom for Peace Program 1957 reports to both the General Assembly, Security Council. Any country wants to develop the civilian nuclear technology, then you have to agree to IAEA inspections and safeguards. So comprehensive security program is there, and then you have additional protocol. All these things you have to sign. Okay, so India also, all our reactors are open for IAEA inspection, so that they'll know. Okay, all these things are being used only for peaceful purpose and not for diverting for weapons, right? So IAEA major conventions are there, treaty on proliferation of so major conventions. See, we are having spent fuel management. So joint convention on spent fuel management, India is not a signatory, but the notification of accident convention, with that we are a signatory. Convention on how to run the nuclear safety, that also we are a signatory. Just that the fuel management, we are not a signatory. NPT, of course, we are not a signatory. PTBT only we are a signatory. CTBT we are not a signatory. Okay, so just go through it. Next thing, with respect to the critical minerals, right? So the critical minerals, right? Let me just close few things, then we can resume. Okay. All these things we have finished, right? So the important thing here is critical minerals. Some data is there with me. Okay. So you can see India has identified, the Ministry of Mines has identified 30 critical minerals. Okay, that is the first point. But most of the critical minerals we are dependent on imports. Okay, and majority of them from China. If you take with respect to China, it has unparalleled dominance in the critical minerals sector. Okay, so China has discovered 173 type of minerals, and including 13 energy minerals, 59 metallic minerals, 95 non-metallic minerals. Reserves of 40% of all these minerals, that is of the 173 type of minerals, it is China only is leading. Okay, so that is the big problem. China is a leading player in the critical minerals. So Chinese dominance of the critical minerals, you can see 47% of antimony, 73% of bismuth, 38% of gallium, 98 percentage, sorry, 38% of cadmium, 98% of gallium, 94% of germanium, 67% of graphite, indium 66%. So this is the production share of China in the world. Molybdenum 41%, vanadium 68, tellurium 73, tungsten 76, 35% of titanium. All this China is the leading producer, and India is dependent on China for a lot of critical minerals. Bismuth, 85% of our requirement from China, 82% lithium from China, 76% of lithium silicon requirement from China, 50% of titanium requirement from China, 48% of tellurium requirement from China, 42% of graphite requirement from China. So Critical minerals are those minerals which are going to be crucial in the next generation of industrialization and all. So we need to have the supply chain. That is why, to move away from China, only India Australia critical mineral partnership, US led strategic mineral partnership and all we have signed. But some of the critical minerals like lithium and all we have found in Riasi, but still nobody wants to do the mining. Though we announced the contract and all through the auction, nobody wants to sign up for it. That's the big problem. So now, in order to change this, the national critical mineral mission has been created, right? So you can see here this national critical mineral mission. It has been given outlay of nearly 34,300 crore. Okay, so this national critical mineral mission will be given this much money, and this will promote both the domestic mining as well as we will get the contract and leasing of the mine abroad, like in South America or Africa, and from there we will produce the mineral for our purpose. Some amount of royalty we will give those countries. Okay, so that is the thing here. So it is incentivizing both the domestic as well as abroad mining. Okay, so this much money they have given so that technology and all we can develop, we can win the auctions, all these things, right? So these things are there, just go through it. So international collaboration we are having. Okay, I have discussed this, right? So we need to develop the recycling facility also. This is also one important thing, right? So why it's important? It's there, economically, strategically vital. So critical strategic minerals and all are under the MMDR Act of 1957. It's the responsibility given to the state, central government for giving the leases, regulating it. So critical strategic mineral comes under Union government's territory, Ministry of Mines. So tungsten auction we did in Tamil Nadu, but protest we have withdrawn. So that is one issue that is there. Only the minor mineral regulated by the state government under MMDR Act. So remember this. Okay. So uses and all you know it, right? Lithium used in EV, cobalt also in batteries, nickel in batteries, graphite in lithium ion battery, again rare earth elements in electronics, titanium it is used for the space devices and all space equipments, tungsten once again lithium ion battery, right? So vanadium, beryllium, so all these things are used in batteries, semiconductors and all. So just to go through it. So China dominating the global supply chain, right? DRC 70% cobalt, Argentina, Chile in lithium, right? The lithium triangle you would have heard, right? Bolivia, Chile, Argentina, right? India is import dependent, so that is what we are trying to change, right? So just go through it. Kabil is the critical mineral research organization. They'll try to prospect for critical minerals, then mine it, sell it, make money, all these things. PLI scheme for advanced batteries, that is also there, right? Locations, see Riasi, even in near Mandya in Karnataka, lithium was found. Cobalt, Orissa, Jharkhand, Nagaland, nickel, same place. Graphite, Tamil Nadu, Jharkhand, Orissa. Rare earth animals, so Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, titanium. Okay, just go through it, right? Locations are all there. Okay, so next thing, so okay, another 58, so 68, 78, 88, 31 pages slides are there. You can easily finish it. Another 15 minutes. Okay. So domicile quota is unconstitutional in PG. So they have said that it is against Article 14 equality. Maybe in MBBS domicile quota can be there for equity purpose, but in the PG we cannot give it like that. They have said. Okay. So in unconstitutional in PG. So in PG it has been struck down. No more domicile quota. Okay. So state counselling 50%, 50% central counselling, all India quota. So state seats, just because it can't be reserved to the person from that state. So anybody can participate in these things also. I want to do the PG in Delhi, like that I feel, or I want to do it in Andhra Pradesh, I feel. I am domicile of Tamil Nadu, means I can still apply there. Any person domicile from Andhra will not get precedence over me. That is what is domicile quota. So this has been struck down. Okay. So it reserves a portion of the seats for the domicile candidates has been struck down. It's against equality, right? You need to have the good talent and merit in the advanced doctor courses, right? So PG course you must not give. Okay. So Article 52 related to the president, right? So concept of a state-wise domicile in constitution, no concept. So SC has clarified. Article 14 we have discussed. Article 19, right to legal profession, right, freedom to practice any profession. So landmark cases, only one domicile for Indian citizens as given in this case, right, Pradeep Jain versus Union of India. So it has promoted it. Okay. So in UG, in MBBS, it is there, domicile quota is there, 70% cap, 30% all India merit. So birth rate, actually here you can see in Tamil Nadu, birth rate very less. Total fertility rate you can see here 1.4. So it has fallen. So it has gone below million. Okay, so it's a good thing only, right? So we need to reduce the birth rate as much as possible. 1.4 billion people, too much it is there. We need to reduce it. Okay. So another thing, crude birth rate, right? It's there. Live births per 1,000 people. Total fertility rate, number of children woman is expected to have in her lifetime. TFR 2.1, stable population, replacement ratio. So dependency ratio, right? So one thing, birth rate is falling means non-working, that is children plus elderly divided by the working age population. Dependency ratio will be very high. So people who are working will find it very difficult. This is the problem that happened in China. Okay, so infant mortality rate, number of children who die before 1 year per 1,000 live births, right? So work-life balance, career issue, delayed marriage, no marriage at all. People don't want to risk the responsibility, changing family structure. Family itself is not there now. Urbanization, cost of living, increasing narcissism, higher female education. All these are responsible for no marriage, no childbirth, right? So increase in use of contraceptive, that is good only. Fewer children needed. Okay. Obesity, all these things, fertility issue. You can see every road you have wine shop as well as fertility hospital. So that's the thing in Tamil Nadu at least. Rise in ART. Okay, now that also has become industry. So adding to GDP, new employment opportunity, you can add it, right? So Hum Do Hamare Do campaign. So that is going good work. At least in Tamil Nadu, it is working. Maternity leave, limited leave discourages childbirth. Okay. Mission Parivar Vikas, family planning scheme, shift for focus from family to career, right? So we will all die with the laptop in hand, not surrounded by family, means okay, not no issue. Rising dependency ratio, right? That will pass problem. Worker shortage, migration will happen. It will take care of it, right? Higher social security burden, that is the thing, right? So socio-demographic shift. So silver economy, more world people will be there. So it will create new avenues. Sage, sacred, all these schemes are there. Read what it is, right? Declining sex ratio. So already children are less. So sometimes if it can result in even less girl children. That is thing is there. So again, no more women to have children. That also can reduce, right? So geriatric care will increase. More need for the geriatric care, right? More pension schemes, Atal Pension Yojana, EPFO, ESIC, all these things. Pro-natalist policy, Japan and all doing, but still not much effect. It's a good only, right? Enough people are there. So much damage we have caused to the earth. Okay. Increase in healthcare cost, more spending on healthcare for elderly. Okay. So IAS or IF officer, this only we saw now in that Axiom 4 mission. So he is only going. This and all we have already seen, Gaganyaan and all. So Axiom 4 under Artemis Accord, this Axiom Space Company Limited, private company of US, it is sending this Sudhanshu Shukla to space. 2 people are selected, 1 person is going. Okay. So robot is the humanoid robot Vyomitra, that is part of Gaganyaan. So remember that Vyomitra. International Space Station is a collaboration of NASA, Russia, Europe, JAXA, Canada. So Bharatiya Antariksh Station will be our zone. Okay. So just to go through it. Next thing, last thing, I guess this is the last thing, right? Another 10 slides. So with respect to our National Disaster Management Authority, established under DM 2005. So NDMA will only implement all the disaster management codes across the states, right? So you are having the NDMA established under Disaster Management Act 2005, right? So functions of NDMA: approve the national disaster plan, formulate the policies. Okay, policy and all will be created by the National Disaster Management Council or Commission, right? They will give the policy input. NDMA will implement it. Okay. Institutional framework, NDMA at the national level, right? So that is what national disaster executive council is there. No, they will only give the policy input. State executive council, state disaster management association, the district disaster management authority, all that will be created. Okay, Sendai framework will be implemented for DRR, right? So SDMA state level headed by CM, right, implement all the things, okay, in line with the NDMA, and the NDMA will implement the Sendai framework. Okay, at the district level, chairperson is the district collector, right? Next thing, 500 million has been sought as an extra budgetary resource for investigating, monitoring human rights abuse. Already USAID funds are being misused. Now Human Rights Commission wants more money so that that also can be misused. So just see it. Human Rights Office declared 1993 by UNGA resolution. That's what Paris principles, right? Human rights. So that is the thing. They want to ensure that human rights violations are looked into and treated properly. United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, we've already seen that. Okay, you can just go through it. High Commissioner for Refugees is also there. Read that also. Okay. So I think with that we have come to an end. So thank you for your time. It's been a long session. We started at 11:45, right? 12:45, 1:45, 2:45. So 3 hours 20 minutes. So thank you so much. Any doubts in these topics, you can always put a message. Make use of the data, right? So any questions, you can contact us, right? Thank you once again. We'll meet next month, right? Thank you.